Welcome to Lorehammer, Episode 19, Minor Xenos Races, Part 4.
Cream to Eric Sour.
Ew. Like sour cream?
Yeah. But also more sexual too. The cream.
Nope. All right.
This is Jordan. Will you be my Valentine?
Joining us today is Skylar. Hey, Skylar.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing excellent, thanks.
That is
Thanks
good.
for having me.
Yeah, well, you're very welcome. It's actually exciting.
He's our number one fan.
Number one fan.
No.
Pretty much, which is kind of also weird.
It's fine. It's just as soon as I start touching you, it's when you know you're accepted.
Excellent.
That's when
Excellent.
it really starts. But Skylar actually, I don't know if any of you guys are on our Facebook page, but Skylar actually made coasters for us.
Yeah.
And that's how I bought my way into this episode.
Yeah,
Well,
we take bribes and
Obviously.
also foot nudes. I like to see pictures of your feet. I can just imagine myself touching them,
Yeah.
or make us gifts. That works.
Either or.
But they're actually really cool. Guys, go check out our Facebook page. You'll see the post Skylar did. You did. It's really sweet.
I was expecting the edges to be sharp and I could
So
use
was
it as
I.
a weapon, but they're smooth.
No,
so
but it's-
that's my only criticism of them. But other than that, I love them.
Yeah,
Fun
they're-
fact, those are all hand-edged as well. I did them
Ooh.
all on a bunch of different belts from 80 all the way up to like an 800 grit belt to get that nice polish on it.
Smooth.
Yep.
I'm going to pretend like I know what you're talking about.
So grit is the
Sand.
roughness of the sandpaper.
I was kidding.
So
Actually,
when
no, it's-
the
if you
lower
have-
the number, the more grit.
Yes,
No, it
yes.
also doesn't make any sense. It's like wire gauge. Like the higher the number, the smaller the
Oh,
wire.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that is kind of
That's
weird.
just like
yeah.
electricians being like, look at us being special.
Yeah, totally.
You have to go to
Look
school.
at us in our wizardry.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
It means nothing.
That means nothing. No. Well, I guess we should probably talk about Warhammer at some point.
You say that often in our intros.
Yeah,
It's
because we
enjoyable.
always lose where we're going.
No, you just get people into it. You know, you set the mood, giggling.
I feel like
We're not too bad, though. We're usually within the first 10 minutes, we're into the topic.
that's not bad.
Yeah.
I just
See if
feel
we
like
can break that,
I feel like
though.
I'm massaging. You know, like you start off really slow,
Yeah,
and then
fair
the
enough.
person that you're massaging, like they start to feel a little more comfortable, and that's when I really start. No,
That's when you
in,
really start
yeah.
giving out your touches.
right. Exactly.
That's when you really start rubbing one out, right?
rubbing them. I don't do myself. That's not part of the that's the premium. You know
Gotcha.
what? We can talk about my pricings later. But Skylar, when was the first time that you were introduced to 40K, and how did it happen?
Ooh, I played with my neighbor, and it was 1998.
That is a long
Yeah.
time ago.
Yeah.
So I just picture too, you're just a little boy. You're walking down the street.
I think
and
I was
your
like-
neighbor- no. I don't
whistling
care
too,
what
right?
the facts are.
With the
Oh,
lollipop
okay.
in his mouth.
Yeah.
And the neighbor's like, "Hey kid, you want to see something cool?"
Do you want to come in my basement?
Yeah, essentially. It's nothing sexual for once. Like Warhammer guys are just super friendly. You know, we just want to share the hobby.
By my neighbor, I mean he was also the same age as me at that time. So
That changes the picture a little bit.
I like my version better.
it's a lot funnier. That's for sure.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Was it the tabletop game that you played with them? Like the actual tabletop?
No miniatures.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah,
Tabletop?
for tabletop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
We played with miniatures. Yeah. We played Chaos and Space Marines.
Standard. Pretty
Classic.
standard.
Yeah, classic. And he had a bunch of the heroes, like the daemons or whatever, or demons, whatever you would call them.
However you choose to say.
Yeah,
We're not going to judge.
yeah, probably some of the Is there a miniature for Slaanesh and all
Yeah, oh, yeah.
them?
Yeah, like their demon princes.
Yeah. So I think he had one or two of those, and he had an army, and we would divide them up. And he had a couple of his buddies too that did it, and then we'd all play.
Nice.
Okay, another person desperate for friends to play Warhammer with. Mark knows nothing about that life.
No, because I have tons of friends, and I'm making more and more each day.
Oh god, he's got that crazy look in his eye. But you've been a pretty avid listener to the episodes.
Yes, I've listened to every episode. Yes.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Times.
The last one I did just to show my woman because she appreciates the humor and the banter too, and she thinks it's hilarious. So
The story is going
Wait.
right over her head.
oh yeah, yeah.
Women like us?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Not
Yeah.
real women, obviously.
Okay.
Oh no, she's a real woman. You don't want to fuck with her.
Debatable. Pixar didn't happen. I don't know.
Skylar, that's a dude that you're showing us.
No,
Oh, that's some serious facial hair right there. You need to go have a little you time with this person. Clear some stuff out, I think.
gross.
So you played it like with your friends or whatever.
Yeah.
But like,
And
how
then-
long did you play it for? And then like, why'd you stop?
So I play. You guys really want to know?
Yes.
Jordan will know this very, very well. So when I was like 11, 12, so Jordan and all my other brothers were still real little kids. And my mother was still in this super like Puritan kind of
Yeah.
kick.
We've all had parents
Yeah,
who've done
you
that.
know, Mark specifically.
Yeah.
I know you know. Eric, I
Eric's
don't know
mom-
you as well, but I know that Mark for sure knows what I'm talking about. But like, my mother basically had said, actually, Jordan and I's mother had said it was basically like demonic and stuff. Even though there was like specific units that fought demons and stuff, somehow that was still demonic.
Yeah, yeah.
So she wouldn't let me play. So I basically had to like, I did buy a few like squads or whatever they were really cheap with whatever the money I had, and I think they were
Yeah.
Space Marines. I can't even remember, but I had to like hide them from her. I think I
Yes.
basically kept them at my friend's house.
Yeah.
And then we just play when I would go over there, and
Classic.
then eventually I just never I never took them back because I was too scared to bring it into the house because she would find it.
Yeah, you'd get too big of a beating for that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No, I get that.
Yeah, totally.
Fair
So
enough.
That is a good reason
Yeah.
to stop.
Yeah. When I was growing up, we like Pokemon, the Game Boy edition was like,
Yeah.
just came out and it's super popular.
Oh, I remember that. It
was so good.
It was so
Demons,
good.
guys.
Yeah, but yeah, my,
Red and-
my mom
red and
took it.
blue?
Yeah, exactly.
Pocket
like,
demons.
Pocket Demons. So my mom took it away. But I swear, like, me and my brothers amassed, like, a different Pokemon game every week. Like, I don't know how. Were we stealing? I don't know. Like, I don't know where they came from, but every week she'd have to confiscate another one. And she'd, like,
I have too many memories of hiding things from my mom.
Yeah.
Still.
I
Like-
still
And-
do it. I still do it.
And super innocent things too. We're not even talking about
Yeah,
like
well,
weird
like
adult
board games.
things.
No,
no,
yeah,
like, so-
a board game.
so,
Yeah.
Eric, you just recently got a cat, and your mom's
I did.
like, your mom said something
so
about it.
like I saw my little sister, and I was like, "Hey, like, do you want to come over and like see my new kitten? Like, everyone loves kittens." And she's like, "Oh, mom didn't want you to get a cat." And I was like, "What do you mean she didn't want me to get a cat?" And she's
You
like,
live by yourself.
I
too,
do. I
so-
do. I do not live with my mother anymore. And my little sister's like, yeah, mom just has a really bad feeling about you getting a cat. And I'm like,
Oh
what
my
the
God.
Like, come on. And so,
So you do understand. You do
oh
definitely
no,
understand.
I'm with you 100%.
Like you're not responsible enough to
I
take care
have
of a
no
cat?
idea. I refuse to ask her because I don't want to be drawn.
yeah.
I don't want to be drawn into conversation with her.
Wow.
So I
Is your
just-
mom our mom?
There, like, you'll learn. There's a lot of similarities.
That's
There actually is. There is.
that's insane.
Yeah.
I didn't even think anyone could truly empathize with us.
Well,
like
I
that.
mean, empathy isn't real, but I can get as close to that as possible.
Whatever.
I got a new podcast idea.
What?
97 ways our mom betrayed us.
I'm in. I am
You guys-
fucking in.
Yeah?
It's just couple dudes bitter at their mom.
Yeah.
This sounds like some real Sigmund Freud shit.
Yeah, it's his heyday. He's like, woo.
Wait, isn't that the one where you like secretly fetishize your mom?
Yeah.
Oh,
An
gross.
Oedipus.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
or like all our problems like stem from like
Your mother?
yeah,
No,
from,
like girls
our
have
mother.
daddy issues
Yeah, yeah.
and guys have mommy issues.
Interesting.
Nothing new there.
I know dudes with dad issues, though, too, so that's not
Yeah,
really.
yeah, it's true. It goes both ways.
Yeah.
Well, you can't swing specifically one way, you know? It's
Of course,
it's
that's
a
not
spectrum.
That's not progressive
It's a
enough.
spectrum.
You're right. Yeah, we're not being progressive. We're sorry.
Oh my gosh. All right, okay. Back on Warhammer.
No.
No Warhammer.
Put this one on
Derailed.
pause. We're going to go do the mom podcast.
What has been your favorite episode so far?
Oh man, that's tough because everyone's like pretty good, and it succeeds on its own merits. I've been enjoying the Xenos Just one, because of the banter, and two, because of the variety of the content.
Yeah, like
Right?
as sick as I am getting of doing these Xenos
Yeah.
episodes, each one is so like I learned so much.
I'm learning a lot.
Like,
And there's like there's like so many crazy different alien races,
Yeah.
and you're like, whoa, what the hell? And like especially the way the Imperium of Man like acts towards some of them. It's just like ridiculous.
Majority of them.
Definitely majority of it. It's just ridiculous. It's like crushing people's bones into dust and sending it into the sun. Like, are you guys serious? You don't do this to anyone else. Like, why are you doing this to them?
They made a really rude gesture. That's
Like,
what happened.
Holy hell.
No, it has been a lot of good learning. Just of learning all the different kinds of Xenos that are out there.
And I also appreciated the ones about the Emperor. I think it was Imperium of Man, I think was the name of the episode. I can't remember because I know you've talked about the Emperor a few times,
Yeah.
but there was one where you specifically were like, talked quite a bit about him. It gives a lot of insight into the lore.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of archetypes in the Emperor too.
For sure.
That the Warhammer writers are obviously drawing on, which is pretty interesting to see. So
Yeah.
So
So you were playing Warhammer, then you stopped,
Yeah.
and then like, did you just start listening to our podcast because of Jordan, or like,
No,
have you always kind of been interested in the lore?
I've always
or-
kind of been interested in it. Not so much the lore. What really brought me in was that it was like cool. It was like models you built, because I was always into building like models when I was a kid, like airplanes and stuff like that. Like specifically warplanes, obviously.
Yes,
because those are the only cool ones. But even though they're also the most evil ones,
right.
But
Naturally.
yeah, naturally. But it was cool. You know, you got to build this dude. You made him. You put the parts you wanted on him, and then you painted him.
No. You put the parts that the instruction book calls for. You put an orc arm on a space marine, you're a heretic.
Well,
a filthy heretic.
well, we'll see. What if you can't tell it's an orc arm though?
Oh, I'll tell.
Well, only you could tell though. Anyways, various things like that. It was pretty cool. Yeah. I just liked it. I liked how the mechanic worked. How you sat on a table, you used like a ruler, you rolled dice, like nothing. Like there was some strategy to it, but there was also some element of chance, right?
It was a micromanaging game of Risk.
Yeah,
which everyone loves Risk.
Yeah, of
but
course.
then like you can dig deeper
and
into this
strategy
game.
too. And I really love like real time strategy games, like
Okay.
Command and Conquer, StarCrafts,
Age of Empires.
of course, Age of Empires. Like,
Just because we're a 40K podcast, I'll say Dawn of War.
yeah,
What's
well,
that?
obviously,
What's Dawn of War?
yeah.
It's an,
Actually, have you played
RTS.
have you played Total Warhammer yet?
Like the fantasy version?
Yes.
No, I've watched a bunch of videos.
It's
on
really
Yeah?
good. It's
Is
really
it?
fun. I wish they would have a 40K version because it would be better than Dawn of War, but
Yeah.
they don't. But it's really good.
But they,
Yeah, like
yeah.
I love the old fantasy universe, but then like I'm just like in the back of my head I always think, oh, the universe has been destroyed.
Yeah.
Like what's the
yeah.
point of playing? But like the game looks sweet. You
yeah,
know? Like
yeah, for sure.
because nothing matters, Mark.
So,
That's why.
so here's a related question. So does 40K fantasy exist in the same universe as 40K?
No.
Not 40K fantasy, Warhammer
yeah,
fantasy.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know
no,
what I'm saying.
they're completely unrelated.
Okay.
Way back in the day, like they were, but like this is
Really?
even, like this is before even
Like we're talking like 70s or 80s or whatever.
yeah, like when it first came out,
Yeah.
like it was just a bunch of dudes in the basement who were like making like D&D characters essentially.
Yeah.
And then like the one guy brought out like a Space Marine character.
Right.
So like they were, but like they were never really in the same universe.
Gotcha.
You know? But
J- only under the Warhammer banner they were
Yeah,
related, kind of.
yeah.
And there is some similarities between the races.
yeah.
But the one similarity they'll never have is that there's actually good people in Warhammer fantasy.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
There's like actually altruistic, like good people.
right.
Yeah.
It's like
Which
there's
doesn't exist in 40K.
no, there's
It's not the
no,
grim dark.
Yeah, exactly.
You
It's not
guys,
the
you keep
grimdark.
forgetting about Tau and the Greater Good.
No,
Shut your poor mouth.
better
It's a
dead
sham.
than red.
It's an Illuminati sham.
Yeah,
That's what it
that's
is.
right. Oh shit.
Oh man.
Yeah,
See where
so
all
good.
your guys' loyalties lie now.
Not with the space commies.
Yeah, definitely not with the space commies.
Okay, well, let's get to our next part. We had a couple emails actually in the past week, which was kind of cool. 2 of them were about things people had noticed in our podcast that we were talking about. So one we had was an email from Sean, and he's referencing episode 8. Because apparently, and I didn't go back and listen to the episode, but he said we were talking about who actually talks to the Emperor, and everything happens behind closed doors, and is he
there's
really
that classic,
there?
like somebody walks into a throne room and the door closes.
And they come out hours later or
Yeah.
something, and they claim to have talked with him, but
I always wondered about that too. Actually, yeah.
well, he referenced a character, an Inquisitor called Jack Draco, and it's from the Omnibus, the Inquisitor or something.
Inquisitor Wars Omnibus.
Yeah. And it talks about this character who actually goes into the throne room, or he knew like an invasion was coming, so he psychically like talked to the Emperor, and the Emperor answered him in like many different personalities.
Yeah,
and
he was
joined a
very
voice.
like
broken,
insane.
like broken
Yeah,
and
yeah.
insane. We were like, wow, like I can't believe I didn't know about this character. And then we're like showing it to Christian, and Christian very quickly points out, yeah, that book is no longer considered full canon.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to find out that they had actually had someone talking to the Emperor at some point.
Yeah.
It just, in current status of the lore, it doesn't exist.
Well,
So
yeah.
how does like the Emperor execute his will if
he doesn't really.
If he doesn't
The
have
High Lords
mouth,
of Terra are the ones who are responsible for the running of the Imperium.
I suppose.
Yeah, because if he had like any say in how the Imperium was
It
run,
wouldn't be how it
wouldn't.
is.
Yeah, it would not be this religion.
Well, how did he get it to that point?
He like when he left it at 30K, like it was
I guess
pretty
so.
much what he wanted,
Yeah.
and over the next 10,000 years, it's devolved into the
Yeah.
mess that it is now.
Yeah.
And you see the evidence of that when Reboot comes back, and he's like, "What the shit have you guys done with this?" Right? So that was cool to know.
Yeah, it was interesting. I did read that. Like, what was neat too was they actually had like in the book an actual conversation. Like Jack Draco says this, and then the Emperor says this, and they
But it's insanity.
actually, yeah. But like they actually played out the conversation. Like
It wasn't just like the synopsis or like a description of the conversation. There was actual words that he
Yeah.
said. So,
Yeah.
yeah, because you think about that,
So
like that's
proof, basically, yeah.
But it was to think about that is nuts because he hasn't had a real conversation with anyone else. So it'd be a little crazy that they would.
Steve the Custode.
Okay, it'd be a little odd for them to record a conversation between the Emperor and this Inquisitor, but they're not going to record the conversation between Reboot and the Emperor.
Yeah, yeah.
So was the book that was written, was it just like a hypothetical,
I'm sure at the time,
or was it canon
considered
when
canon.
they when they wrote it?
Yeah.
Right?
How old is this book?
I didn't check.
I didn't even
but-
take a look.
Like 10 years more?
It must be a decent. We'll let Mark take a look at that, but it must be like a decent amount of time, right? But they're constantly changing and updating their stories, so.
Right. Gotcha.
But it was cool
How
to
do
know.
you spell?
You spell check, Mark. The other one that he talked about was when we were talking about perpetuals, and Mark was saying that perpetuals are essentially immortal, and that as long they can regenerate very quickly, and as long as they have like an
That was the
atom left.
Xenos from the last episode, right?
Well, this is a little further back, episode 10.
Oh, okay.
Because we were talking about Vulcan Histan for a second, I think. So,
Okay.
Not Histan, just Vulcan.
sorry, just Vulcan. Sorry,
Two different characters.
Yes, I
So
know,
many
I get
words.
it. Just Vulcan. Mark was talking about how he was a perpetual, and this guy said, well, actually, in order to regenerate, they had to be killed. Which kind of, and I get it and I don't get it, because if that was actually the case, it would make complete sense in the Emperor's case. He's not regenerating because he never truly died.
Yeah.
They left him in a stasis, and therefore he can never be reborn. But that has more of a Phoenix feel than an immortality feel to
Yeah.
it. And
Where like Vulcan, who is like a confirmed perpetual, like his regeneration abilities are wild. Like
yeah, like
he's-
close to instant, right?
Yeah,
like
like
Wolverine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like think Wolverine, that one scene where he's getting like deatomized by
Yeah.
like like his abilities are like that, above and beyond like normal Primarch levels.
Right. And the Emperor is a confirmed perpetual, but this doesn't make you immortal.
Yeah.
There is a weapon that can actually kill perpetuals. It's called a fulgurite. Now, regular fulgurite occurs naturally, and it's just when lightning hits sand and turns it into glass.
I do know this. This is actually a test question in school for me. This is a real thing.
40K to school.
Yeah, it's
What
a real
can kill
thing.
a perpetual?
Full right.
But actually,
Natural
the
glass.
Emperor at one point created fulgurite with his psychically charged lightning. He put it through sand, and it created a weapon. And this weapon can actually kill a perpetual. So it is fulgurite, but it's created by like psychic energies.
So is it a blade or like a?
I'm thinking it's more of like a spear,
Okay.
if anything. It's
Still a
changed
blade.
hands a couple times. It's a very powerful weapon.
Gotcha.
But it can kill a perpetual, which tells me that some things can kill a perpetual. My argument to the fact that I don't think you have to die is ultimately it's Vulcan. Vulcan doesn't have to die in order to regenerate. But the reason I think the Emperor hasn't regenerated is because the damage that was dealt to him was like a blow from all the Chaos Gods put together.
Yeah, it wasn't just.
It's
He
not
wasn't
just
just
Horus,
shanked.
right?
Yeah, like he was. Like his very soul is
was
like,
rent,
Yeah.
right? And
So
this is why
he
he
would-
can't heal.
So he's prison shanked with poop on it. Is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Okay,
And no
gotcha.
one has the correct antibiotic for it.
Christian's the worst. He keeps spam texting me right now.
I know my phone
And it's
keeps
like, I
vibrating.
try to ignore him. I've tried to ignore him for 4 weeks now.
He just keeps
Poor
coming
Christian.
back like an injured puppy.
Also, the Inquisitor War was originally written in 1990.
That's a long
Holy
time
shit.
ago. 30
Yeah.
years almost.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah, so like
That's crazy.
it makes sense they're going to do a couple changes since then. Yeah, but it is an interesting one. They are technically immortal, but they can be killed, so it's not true
well,
immortality.
And for all we know, like just like how there's pariahs and blanks, there might be multiple levels of a perpetual.
right, at like how quickly can you regenerate?
Yeah,
like,
like-
maybe one of you takes 5 minutes, maybe one of you takes 3 seconds
one takes 10,000 years.
or more. Fingers crossed.
the most powerful one.
Yeah, exactly. So, but he is a perpetual. I don't think it functions in the way that Sean particularly said it is, but it was cool. It made me do a little more research.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
found out about the fulgurite, which
Yeah.
is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Our next email we got was from Jace, and I think Jace just finished like either our Eldar episode or the War in Heaven because he was talking about the old ones.
Oh, he's behind. Wow.
He's got a little bit of catch up to do.
He'll be getting a nasty letter from me.
Just a minor criticism.
Minor criticism.
Minor
Can
slight
you listen
criticism.
2 times speed?
So his question was, are the Pantheon the old ones? I believe we talked about this a little bit, or did we more liken them to the Chaos Gods?
I think we did both. This was in our like after topic discussion.
Okay.
Where we all threw out ideas. Like I forget who said what, but yeah, we did a couple hypotheticals of what we thought they could be.
The Pantheon are definitely like mythology to the Eldar.
Yeah.
That's like where they believe their history is from and what happened. Now, I think they're much more real than our mythology. Like,
Than our pantheon.
right, exactly.
Right,
Like if
gotcha.
we were to talk about like
The
Zeus
Greeks, yeah.
and like the Greek and the Roman gods, like that's
Yeah.
true mythology. Whereas I think these ones are a little more historical
Yeah.
because they also describe the war in heaven. And so it might have just been
Yeah.
great beings of power.
Yeah.
It's not really confirmed
Yeah.
if they were old ones or not. It's not outside the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
But I would say it's not probable.
Yeah. Well, what was interesting about his email that we were going back and forth was, so he was talking about how like the old ones had a mastery of the warp, but like I forget if his question was like, what would happen when the Chaos Gods come back? Because then, like the warp is a different place from when the old ones were a master of it, and when like today the warp. Because
Yeah.
like back when they were masters of it, there were no Chaos Gods. It was just energy, right?
Just smooth, right?
Smooth,
Smooth.
flat.
Yeah. Easy to manipulate.
Yeah, so like the question kind of was like, so if the old ones came back today, would they still have that mastery of the warp now that the warp has kind of gained sentience?
And I would say like their knowledge was unmatched, right? Because they taught the Eldar everything about like the webway and the warp that they could. So I would say they definitely like would surpass the Eldar in their knowledge, but I don't think they would have the same mastery level. Like, not who's to say they won't learn it and learn how to manipulate this currently coursing energy. But anything that you do in the warp, like, just feeds chaos.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a perpetual struggle between how much power are you wielding versus how much power are you giving to chaos. Right. The only way to truly beat it is to not use it. So, like, I don't think they'd be as great masters now as they were back then.
I kind of think that too, but who's to say?
Who's to say? Yeah. They don't really exist anymore. So, yeah. Anyways,
Pour
thanks.
one out for my homies.
Yeah. No, not on the carpet.
Right on Jordan's carpet.
Gross.
He's not having enough water issues right now.
Oh, sad.
I'm so triggered right now.
But thanks for emailing us, guys. It's really fun to correspond with you and think what you guys are thinking, and makes me do more research and learn more about it. So I enjoy that.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like, we haven't read every 40K book.
Some would even say
Any 40K
any
book.
of them.
You don't have. I don't think you have authority to speak on this topic, Mark.
I never did. I don't know how I got on this podcast.
Yeah, it's cool because it forces me to learn more. And
Exactly, and
I normally would skip over stuff, and so I like it.
I normally skip over reading and stuff. So,
Right, exactly. You just have to be spoon-fed everything. That's all. But thank you for emailing us. Thanks for liking us on Facebook. Obviously, it's really cool when we get to chat with you guys about stuff. Don't forget, here's our plug for the day. Review us on iTunes if you listen to us on iTunes. If you listen to us on another medium, review us and rate us on that one.
Review.
Yeah.
Skylar, have you reviewed?
So many reviews. I've actually created alternate accounts just so I can make more reviews.
Our number one fan. Yeah, but that is definitely something that just helps our podcast. People see it, and then they're more likely to listen to it, which just increases the amount of time we want to put into this when more people enjoy it. So it's a snowball.
Yay.
Give me your energy, and I will give you power. That's, I'm not a chaos god, I promise. All right, let's get into our little activity. Mark, true or false?
All right, I got a good one for you.
All right.
True or false?
Yes.
Did Mark or didn't Mark? Nope, that wouldn't then be a true or false.
Yeah.
Did Mark create 5 questions for this true and false segment?
Okay.
Like he said he would.
Jordan, what do you think?
I'm going to call a false on that one.
Skylar.
False.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a false on that one. You did not prepare.
Okay, so we got that wrapped up. Just hope you enjoyed that. That's
Pull
just
some out of your ass. Pull one. Just pull one.
Okay.
Make it a gooder, though.
Which chaos god is typically the most powerful? Oh, I guess this is not
No.
Yeah,
Who
it's
cares?
not
Who
true.
cares? Who cares? It's still opinion based. Oh, that's a good one.
It's not opinion based.
True or false? is
Typically,
not.
you said typically.
This is not a true or false.
You said
question. I
typically.
don't know how to structure sentences, Jordan.
Malal.
I'll be saying true or false. False. So now we are doing true and false.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Nurgle.
And Skylar?
Nurgle sounds pretty good to me as well.
True.
The only reason being is just because he's the oldest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so he's had the most amount of time to
Yeah, that's how
amass.
it works. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Older
like
you are, more power.
Korn would definitely be like the craziest out there, as in like the most bloodthirsty, being the god of blood. But Nurgle would most likely be the most.
I'm pretty
powerful.
sure he usually is typically the most powerful of them all.
If not,
But-
you'll be corrected.
Oh,
By
yeah,
emails.
we'll be corrected.
Yeah.
Listen up, Jace. We're expecting it.
All right, so we ready to finish off our final segment of
I am
Minor
so
Xenos?
ready to finish thinies Xenos.
Let's do it.
I'm ready to finish them.
Like the Imperium. Finish them all off.
Finish them with a happy ending, Eric.
So that's the only way I can imagine doing it.
Is death a happy ending, though?
Depends on how.
If you're Mark,
Yeah.
then maybe. Happy for me. All right. First one we're going to talk about today. Great name, the Ubergast.
They're German. Clearly
German.
German.
Yeah.
The Übergast.
These guys are described as a horrific breed of Xenos. And they had a major resurgence during the War of the Beast in mid-M32. So that's quite a while ago,
Yeah.
actually. So that's pretty much all we got on the Übergast. They like beer,
Yeah.
sausage, and the Lederhosen.
Do they like those wooden shoes? What are those
Clogs?
things?
That's
clogs.
Dutch. Get out of here.
Do they also like National Socialism as well?
I can only imagine that right now they're singing songs praising their government.
Their Führer?
The real question is,
Yes.
what do they hate more than anything?
All right, next Xenos
The
race.
space shoes.
Oh my gosh. All right.
You guys have two of us here. You realize that, right?
They're feeding off each other.
Oh god, it's more terrible than I could have imagined. The next race is the Ulumayathic. And these guys, they formed part of the Ulumayathic League. So I'm assuming there was other races involved in that one. They don't say.
Yeah, who knows?
but-
Maybe it was like they expanded planets and then that was their league. Like,
Yeah,
you know.
who knows? Everyone just has to give themselves a fancy special snowflake name, right? But they were actually attacked by Hive Fleet Naga through Gene Stealer infestation. And I love Gene Stealer infestations in alien races.
Yeah,
So there's
yeah.
there's that one picture I saw at some point that had like every race. Well, not every race, but
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
the playable ones
Sure.
at the very least. And it showed what a Gene Stealer looked like in that race. Oh, it was so cool.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
like when you buy the Gene Stealer, or you see pictures, it's all humans.
Yeah,
And
but
yeah,
like there are orc gene stealers.
right. And there's Eldar Gene Stealers.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's everything. So you see like the race with like a little bit of Tyranid like in it, which
Yeah.
is so cool. So I always wonder like, oh, what would it doesn't describe really what they looked like, but then like how would it look like with a little nid in them too, right?
So now we know what 50% of them looks like.
Right. Half of them look like Tyranids.
Perfect.
Their homeworld was actually devoured, and all the other worlds were declared a state of quarantine by the Eldar.
Yeah, just to stop the gene stealer infestation.
Right, because they understand how dangerous they are. And this must be very, very recent too, because the Nids are a very recent addition to the galaxy.
Yeah, a couple hundred years.
Yeah, that's nothing. So, they were saved by the Eldar. The Eldar, like in the process of them quarantining all the worlds, stopped the infestation. But due to the losses, the Ulu Mayathic are no longer considered a threat to the Imperium.
Yeah.
So,
Good for them.
yeah, I mean,
That
it
means
is
they won't
good
get
for
killed.
them.
They're safe.
Yeah, basically.
For now.
Yeah.
You just have to kill off all your children, all your grandparents, all your extended
Done.
family. Oh,
Now what?
now you're safe from humanity. All right, these next guys actually are a decently old race, the Unkeri, and they fought Thunder Warriors on Terra during the Unification Wars.
Yeah, this is kind of crazy.
It is a little odd because how is that considered a Xenos race?
Well, because when the Thunder Warriors are around, it was like M30. Like
Yeah, but the Unification Wars, weren't they not fought on Terra?
they were, but like humanity at this point has already spread across the entire
Right, because
galaxy.
the dark age of tech had already happened.
Yeah,
at this
which means
point.
they've come into contact with many Xenos. So maybe other Xenos found out about Terra and came there. Like,
It makes me wonder, like, what was Terra like before the Emperor? Because the Emperor really only appeared during the Unification Wars.
yeah, it was a bunch of like tribal barbarians essentially in like feudal states.
But
and stuff.
there must have also been like a decent Xenos.
Yeah, actually, yeah, because
Like
who knows? There
population
might have
on
been.
there.
Yeah, or yeah, like I don't think there would have been like Eldar on it, but
No.
clearly there was.
At least there's the Unkeri,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, and maybe they were just like in the next star system over or something.
Right.
It's kind of
So
interesting.
It is, because it kind of paints a different picture than what you'd normally expect for that. But they did fight the Thunder Warriors on Terra, and this is the really cool part. Their remains were big enough to create a mountain range on America continent.
Oh,
America.
It's literally
America.
called America.
American continent.
Yeah.
Huh.
So on the continent of America,
Just without the A.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we're not just making fun of Americans.
No, yeah, no, it's really American.
Well, it's not the
continent.
American continent.
No,
like,
it isn't.
yeah.
It's American without the slang.
Yeah.
But so it's described in the Chronicles of Ursh. Now, the Chronicles of Ursh was a history of like Russia and like Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
And it's more like it is a history, but it's very exaggerated in like its battles and everything. So who knows like how realistic its descriptions are?
Yeah, like they say like their bodies were big enough to make mountain ranges. Like,
Which would be
does that
pretty
mean
large.
like yeah
they were hundreds of feet tall?
yeah, or does that mean they
thousands.
just stacked a bunch of regular sized aliens and made a mountain out of them?
Who knows?
But that'd be a lot of fun.
Be a lot of skulls for the Skull Throne. Yeah, but that's through the Chronicles of Ursh.
Yeah, so even going off of that, like this race of Xenos might not even be a race of Xenos. Potentially, they might have just like the Chronicle of Ursh might have just been like labeling like weird mutants
as Xenos.
Yeah,
right. Because
like,
the Xenos is really just anyone that isn't from your own.
Yeah, exactly.
Area, right?
Yeah. And I tried to look into this even after we talked about it. I couldn't find anything more.
The Chronicles of Ursh is mentioned very in the beginning with the Inquisitor, or not the Inquisitor, he's an Iterator, and Loken.
Cinderman.
Yes, Cinderman and Loken. So they talk about it a couple times in the Horus Heresy books.
Yeah.
But it's not really mentioned past that, I think.
So,
yeah. All right, next one, the Urgals. Oh, and there's a picture of them. So you guys should check that out.
show me the picture, Jordan.
The Urgals are native to the Dark Elder city of Shaddam. They are very hideous creatures, sightless but very agile.
Oh yeah, and these guys even have a model for them too.
These are the vampire-looking ones.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. They look like their flesh is like all like
Gaunt
striped
and like gray.
Yeah,
They have like 5 eyes too, 5 or 6 eyes.
Yeah.
yeah. Actually, they don't have any eyes.
Well, they have sockets in their head where eyes would normally be.
They are sightless.
Okay.
But
Maybe that's their nose, their nostrils. or
potentially
something.
because they are trackers by scent.
Okay, gotcha.
And
Maybe that makes more sense.
I love the like the ultimates that like 40K loves to place on like their things because they're like, once the Urgul has the scent of its prey, nothing can escape. And I'm just like, oh really? Like,
I'll name some things.
nothing can escape. Have you ever heard of the Emperor? Yeah.
That's
But
awesome.
it is like this race is commonly used by the Dark Eldar Archons, who are the leader of the Dark Eldars.
Yeah.
Right. So they're like their ruling
Different
class.
houses, essentially.
Yeah. So obviously, a very good tool for them to use.
Yeah, like you have a rival Archon and you like steal their panties and then let the Urgul sniff it and then
They track down the Archon for you.
yeah,
Yeah. Why are they using panties?
most potent of smells.
Worst
right.
analogies, but
What is stinkier than your butt, Jordan?
Your attitude, Mark. Next, let's go to the Varsine. The Varsine travel in spaceships called world nests.
Yeah.
Interesting. I wonder if they are, you know how like the Eldar ships are like self-sustainable and they have like
Like they're almost yeah.
it's like a planet, right?
Sure.
Like
Yeah.
they're sustainable and they have all the different parts. I
It's
wonder
like
if
a growing ship.
right.
essentially.
I wonder if a world nest kind of takes after that to where it can be like you can sustain yourself on the world nest.
very
Yeah.
eco-friendly.
Right, of course. Someone has to care, Jordan.
So green.
that, or they might be like a bug type race and they call
Right.
it a nest.
Yeah.
But that's not as fun.
And if a group of world nests travel together, it's called a Varsine blood flock. So, yeah. It makes me think of definitely, and even the words they use that they prey on Imperial worlds. It
Yeah. makes
makes me think of like a bird type predator, world nests and a blood flock,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
That's a good point.
And an interesting thing is that a big enough Varsine blood flock can threaten entire sectors of space.
Yeah.
Which is, think about it, that's like bigger than the Tau Empire.
Hey, Stop talking shit about the Tau.
I mean, Tau aren't that big a player.
I know.
Like the Varsines seem more dangerous than the Tau.
Right?
There's
Yeah.
a lot of Xenos that are more dangerous than the Tau, though. So,
Too true.
The Tau are just a bunch of girly men.
yeah.
You guys just don't understand.
I don't want to. I want to stay in my ignorance. All right, the Vesalians. Oh,
They're just a bunch of soy boys.
Vesalians. Probably a very, very sad story for these guys. Does anyone remember High Admiral Vortigern? He was a great guy, great general,
Hero of the Imperium.
friend to Xenos for about 5 years.
Yeah.
He actually fought High Fleet Jormungandr, and there was at least 3 other races that we've talked about that helped him. One of them he went back later and destroyed completely. One of them was labeled non-horrificus or whatever. And then another one we assume at some point he's going to have to go back and defeat. It's safe to assume the Vesalians is on that list because they helped the High Admiral Vortigern fight in the High Fleet Jormungandr.
Yeah.
They flew in Vesalian Slave Birch, which is, it might just be like the name of their
whatever,
ship, their void ships.
They're flagships.
Yeah.
Sure.
And it also says at some point they were at war with the Donarathi, not to be confused with the Dothraki.
Good. That was
Just
my
in
next
case
question.
anyone wanted to.
I don't recall ever reading them.
About the Donarathi?
Yeah.
That's definitely.
Could have been wrong though. The next one is the Vectates. No,
I'm proud of you, Mark.
Oh, I did it. You're not
did-
even looking.
You did as good as can be expected.
And they're from the planet Arkanath. Arkanath. They say they they can form like a type of hive mind or an overmind, I guess. So we're not sure like what that would be.
Yeah, it makes me think of Tyranids,
Yeah.
but
who
really?
knows,
Because
like-
yeah,
Might just be what they call their like governmental branch. Who knows?
right.
But they must have some type of like
Psychic ability.
psychic ability because they're able to enslave human populations. So
through mind control. Maybe
maybe it's
old
force. No, it is through mind control because I'm pretty sure because in the Great Crusade they're eventually contacted and they get all wiped out. And then like the spell is broken off
Right,
the humans.
that's right.
And then so that really makes you think like that the Overmind is some type of like psychic.
Yeah,
link
like
that
a
they have.
consciousness that is like created with them.
Yeah.
Some kind of dampener field.
Yeah. So they were wiped out by the Ultramarines, and humanity was saved, and everything's good, and the humans get folded back into the Imperium.
Huzzah!
And
Excelsior.
the Great Crusade.
Oh, so great. So I did look up the Donarathi.
Yeah.
They also fought with High Admiral Vortigern
Oh, okay.
against High Fleet Jormungandr. And all it says about them is that they previously were at war with the Vesalians.
Oh, perfect.
Right. Great. So that's just one of the other Xenos races that's on Vortigern's kill list.
That's what I call a link trap. When you click on the one,
No.
yeah, it takes you to the other,
And it takes you back to the
Yeah.
original link.
and now you're stuck on these 2 pages.
Right, because you got no choice. You got to keep going. The Vespid. Vespid are an interesting race. They are part of the Tau Alliance,
Yep. Empire.
whatever you want to call it. There is an image about them.
And they have models.
Yeah, and they have models. They're commonly called stingwings by the Tau.
Yeah.
The Tau call them that. They also call them Malcor.
Ooh, that's the Tau name.
That is the Tau name. I learned it while creating my character's backstory.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
More on that later.
Brought to you later. Anyways, they are very large.
A little taller than a human.
Yeah, and they are winged insectoids with a chitinous exoskeleton.
Yeah, and they have like a little stinger too, but they're not that look. They have like a little wasp stinger. They don't necessarily use it ever,
Yeah.
but they do.
Well, they have like technology.
yeah, so why would you?
What was the name? Oh, I can't remember. The name is escaping me. I'm looking at the Vespid miniature, and that reminds me of the guy from episode 1, the slave trader.
yeah.
Watto.
Yeah, Watto. But like a more mean version of him.
No gut. One that's been working out.
Yeah.
Wait, you mean like Anakin's
Yeah, like,
owner?
Yeah.
They have 3 pairs of eyes, and they are bipedal. I believe that their eyes view things in different spectrums.
Yeah.
Right? Like one on the front views something, and one on the top views like something different or whatever. They have a very complex language, and they were actually at war with the Tau.
Yeah, on first contact.
Yeah, because they just couldn't understand each other, and it was only after the Ethereals
The greatest, yes.
Classic.
gave some special technology to the Vespid all of a sudden, instantly, miraculously, unbelievably, they became complacent and compliant.
Wow, almost like the power of understanding and actually being able to
Isn't a real thing.
I have no rebuttal.
Yeah, well, as soon as the Vespid were able to communicate with the Tau clearly, like the war ended completely, and they became willing allies to the Tau.
Yeah, so
however you choose to take that is up to you.
Yeah.
But it does show like the power of the greater good was able to persuade them to be like, war isn't good and come join us.
to fight in a galactic war.
In a galactic war. Yeah.
A lot of suggestion and all that.
Their homeworld is made up of a floating island that holds unique radioactive crystals that the Vespid use for weapons.
Yeah.
Like the world is an island.
Yeah.
No, like, so I believe it's like a gas giant
Oh,
that
I
has like
see.
floating islands in the
Okay,
gas
gotcha.
giant.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So somehow, like, maybe there's a big rock in the center that somehow keeps all the gravity there.
Well,
who knows?
just gas makes mass.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Vespid also means wasp.
In Latin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Look at us learning different languages.
They're almost like humanoid space wasps, kind of. Yeah.
For sure. They definitely have that humanism
Yeah.
aspect.
Only 4 limbs. So
Yeah. The Vespid wings emit an ultrasonic sound that helps modulate this crystal into activating. So it would be safe to assume that only the Vespids can fire these?
Yeah.
Weapons?
Yeah, like their wings, when they flap it creates some type of thing that unleashes energy from those crystals.
Man, rip off their wings and then they're useless. Fucking Xenos.
Yes. Rip off a human's arms and he's useless. Like,
Says you, just strap another arm on. Come on, this is 40K.
yeah. They're pretty cool, like the way they use like technology like that. Like,
It is pretty unique.
yeah, it's odd. Like, how did they discover that? Like,
Someone is like flying around, they see this crystal and their wings buzz and they just explode.
right? Like,
Right?
and the whole planet's made of this stuff. Like,
That is
How would
what?
they ever figure out how to focus it? That seems
Right?
so weird.
Yeah.
It's like the
yeah.
first person that discovers like that some mushrooms are okay and some mushrooms aren't. Like someone had to like be like, all right, we're putting this one in my mouth. See what happens.
I don't even care that it's growing on cow shit. I'm gonna do it.
I'm gonna
You
eat
could
it.
almost say it's tropey.
You could almost.
almost.
I like the Vespid. When I do my tower army, I'm gonna collect at least one squad.
Well,
of them.
you have to.
Also, they do have miniatures.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. And they've been around for a decent amount of time, right?
Yeah, since 5th, I believe.
That's decent.
Yeah.
They're all pewter, right? The models.
They might be in Finecast now. I haven't checked about them.
It's been a while.
Yeah. They never had good rules. They always had like a weird stat line, so
Okay.
they're never playable in the game. I don't know about 8th
That's
edition now.
unfortunate.
Yeah, because like the models were sweet, but like they just never had like a good use for them.
Well, Tau Codex should be coming out decently soon.
So
So yeah,
knows?
we'll get an update.
yeah.
The next one is the Verminficulin.
Good thing I didn't have to say that one. Oh god.
I can only imagine that they look something like vermin.
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
like
that's
rats,
what first.
space rats.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then when you look at like how they're described, wild mercenary and reavers. So like
Yeah.
I don't
Like-
I can't get like a really solid image in my brain. It's more of just a question mark.
Reap it cheap.
Yeah.
Eradicate.
A real homeless Raticate. Or Reepicheep. Like imagine Reepicheep on crack. Like, something like that. He's like scratching himself and he's like missing fur and he's like exposed skin.
Just give me some.
Yeah, just give it to me or I'll stick you with this.
All we really know about them is at some point they fought the Imperium.
Because they got balls. Crack balls.
We're so tweaked out, we'll fight man.
That's right. That's right. So much crack that they'll literally fight anyone.
Next race is the Viscion. And the Viscion are known for their regenerative abilities.
Yeah.
These ones...
So
it took us a while to actually figure out what was going on with this race.
yeah. So the regenerative abilities are so good that like this one Inquisitor at one point. No, it was a Mechanicum guy. This one Mechanicum guy had apparently a limb from like an adult one, and eventually like that limb started to grow a fetus out of the limb. Like it was like starting to like develop.
It's called a fetus limb.
Yeah. Like
What the hell?
yeah, so like so think of like Deadpool when he gets his arm cut off.
It's that tiny little hand.
Yeah.
Gotcha,
but flip it. So the hand that was cut off is now growing a body.
Right.
But it starts off like that weird.
It
and
makes me wonder, like, if they split.
yeah.
Right?
yeah.
Like, hey, you want to, like, increase the population of the race? Everyone chop off an arm.
like yeah, and they must because it's not like the head was detached and that grew another body. Like
Right.
unless they have their brain in their arm, which is not likely.
I don't know, man. It doesn't say they do, so I would assume they don't.
Yeah. So it's kind of crazy that their regenerative ability is that good.
Yeah, it is quite advanced.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like it's fast, though. It just sounds like anything part of it can survive and grow.
Perpetuals?
No, false.
Perpetuals? Maybe? Perpetuals?
They are probably extinct because their homeworld was absorbed by the Tyranids. If they had any of their species on other planets, it's
I
not
see
said.
your argument, and I raise you. The Mechanicum had one.
Yes.
And it grew. Oh, no, but that died. The fetus limb died. Womp,
Sorry,
womp.
Mark.
I
But
thought
now
I
the
had to-
Tyranids can regenerate like that. So,
Perfect.
That's not terrifying at all.
so yeah. Win-win? No?
Not
No?
for anyone. No one wins.
Okay, no win. Lose?
Lose.
Oh, okay.
Definitely.
Well, at least now we don't have to ever picture a
fetus
Norm
limb.
queen being ravished by a dominatrix, we'll say, which is also a Tyranid unit, to make new Tyranid babies.
Oh,
That
God.
They
makes
can
me
just
uncomfortable.
regenerate. It's a much cleaner picture to just picture them
Yeah, they
regenerating.
can just chop a limb off and
Yeah,
then
instead
make a new
of-
one.
Ta-da!
making weird
Tyranid love.
Tyranid love.
Hashtag me too from the Tyranids.
You know what?
Hashtag me too.
It's never going to be as bad as Mark describing Kroot love.
That was horrible.
Wasn't it?
Oh, God.
Jizz hands.
I love it.
Oh, God.
Classic jizz hands.
Who wrote that shit? That guy should be just slapped. Come on, man.
I listened to this one podcast called 40K Badcast, and they do a segment called what's a fiction called?
Fanfic, yeah.
Yeah. So they do like fact or fanfic or whatever they call it.
Oh, okay.
But they come up with like the wildest fan fiction ones, and you have to guess if like Games Workshop wrote it or if it was like just a fanfic.
That sounds awesome.
And like a lot of them are just hentai. Like,
Yeah.
like just bad.
Of course.
But then
Warhammer hentai?
yeah, like it's just bad.
Gross.
Or it's like a bunch of Xenos races in high school together, and like they're just horrible fan fiction. But the one was like talking about like the guy was on like a Tyranid ship, and like the literal wordage was like, and the anus doors would open and close and stuff. So the guy's like, oh yeah, that's fan fiction. No, it was not. It was Games Workshop.
A funny thing about that,
Yeah, like
Is
a
that
Tyranid sphincter going like,
we played a campaign and we were actually on a Tyranid ship. Like way back in the day, we played a 40K campaign. We were on a Tyranid ship, and the DM described the door opening, and I was like, wait a second. Like in game, like you mean it's like a sphincter? And the DM's like, yeah, it's just opens and closes. It's like a sphincter. And I was like, for the longest time, I was like, that can't be real, right? Like, and then
It can't be. That's a one-way street, my friend.
not in this universe.
Grim dark.
So grim, so dark.
Oh man.
Well,
Now that we know all of that wonderful information,
yep.
nothing but the best for you guys out there.
Quality material. The next race we're going to talk about is the Vrak. And in true Xenos fashion, these guys were actually destroyed by humanity during the Great Crusade.
Good. They're just being consistent.
Right. The Imperium is nothing if not consistent with its dealings with Xenos.
Indeed.
All right. The next one we have information on is the Vig or the Vaig. Who knows? But they are described as an ancient, privative, and brutal race. These are kind of cool because for once, it's not humanity being the asshole.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. It's the Eldar.
Oh.
They can be assholes.
They can
too.
definitely be assholes. But so in their mythology, Asurian is like the god of the pantheon.
Yeah.
Like he created everyone else.
Yeah.
And he had like, I don't know if it was like a vision or like a dream or just a feeling that this race was going to be like a very, very major threat to the Eldar race at some point.
Yeah.
So he went and completely and irrevocably destroyed them.
Yeah.
Just to just a little cleansing.
Just Eldar things.
Right. Hashtag just Eldar things.
Yeah. This is like according to the Eldar mythology. So this kind of goes back to our original question in the beginning, like what are the Eldar gods even? Like we don't really know. So did this actually happen? We can't say for sure.
Yeah, the mythology is much more difficult to ascertain, like its validity.
Yeah. But then like there are like what's the
Like
female?
the Tears of Vishal.
Yeah. And like Isha, I believe.
Yep, Isha is
like-
in Nurgle's garden.
Yeah,
And
like-
she's a member of the Pantheon, and she
Yeah.
like Nurgle keeps her trapped in a cage, and he tries out all of his poisons on her because she's like the aspect of life or something.
Yeah. And then
So like
there's-
she can like heal through anything.
Yeah, so he judges the potency depending on how quickly she shakes it off.
Right, which
Yeah.
is like really cool. But
Sounds like a vacation.
What kind of vacations do you go on?
I don't know.
Oh, actually, no. Yeah, so you go down to
Dark
an all-inclusive resort. You eat their food. You're shitting. you got the shit.
How quickly can he shake the
So
shit?
yeah, so I guess it is like a vacation. That's all. I guess we could talk about Cain too, the Avatar of War from the Eldar mythology, but that's a little different too.
It would be really cool to get a little more clarity
Yeah.
on the mythology. And
maybe we just need to.
we need to do
Dare I
research.
say, read a
Read?
book? Dare I say?
How
it?
dare you? You get that thought out of here.
Get the fuck out of
My
my.
podcast. Yeah, but it's just an Eldar god doing Eldar things.
Yeah.
All right, the next one we have are Watchers in the Dark. So they are a small alien race. Check out their image.
Yeah.
They
Image and model.
Yeah, image and model. They reside on, or they're native to Caliban.
Yeah.
And what's odd, when you look at the image, don't be distracted by the Space Marine like I was.
Yeah, jeez.
Mark's like, oh, look at the image. And I'm taking a look. I'm like, Mark, that's just a Space Marine, isn't it? Mark's like, what? And I'm like, it's just a Space Marine on there. And Mark's like, look at the guy holding the damn book. And it was so tough to see.
Yeah, because they're just like tiny, like little 2 foot tall. They're robed and shrouded. Like if you look into their face, it's just darkness. Like
It
you
looks like a
can't.
Jawa.
Right, that's
Yeah.
exactly
Yeah.
what he said.
Yeah, like
They make you think of a Jawa.
yeah,
But they are native to Caliban, which is the home world
of the Dark Angels.
of the Dark Angels. There's a little bit of mystery around this next part. They're immune to the warp.
And immune to all acts of violence.
We had a little bit
What
of
does that mean?
we had a little
I'll
bit of
show
an
you
argument.
what that means.
Because you are not immune. We had a little bit of an argument on this one. My thought almost was that like they couldn't commit violent acts, right? Because what Mark was saying is that like nothing can hurt them,
Yeah.
But it seems too much.
Yeah, what if it's unintentional? Like, then
we-
it's a
we-
technically
Right, because we
violent?
said, like, what if they fell off a
Get in a
cliff?
car accident or something. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it was. I just don't think it's very clear.
It must be. It must just be worded wrong. Like it must be. I think what you were saying before. They are immune to like committing violence.
Yeah, like
So-
they.
Like
On
the
tabletop,
ultimate
they carry stuff.
pacifists.
On tabletop, yeah, they do carry stuff, but you also cannot target them, and they don't have a profile.
really?
Even
Oh.
though they are a distinct miniature. They're not like a little nerdling that you can put on people's bases. Like
Okay.
they're distinct.
Do they have any kind of like mind control or anything?
No, they have nothing.
They offer nothing other than a cinematic value.
Yeah.
A thematic.
Odd.
Yeah.
Kinda
And
confusing.
We'll go into a little bit about Caliban because it does play a part into
Yes.
this. Caliban was like heavily warp influence. Like
Lots of chaos.
yeah,
on
yeah,
that
and like they
planet.
had like a bunch of crazy beasts and stuff. So for this creature,
this tiny diminutive creature to survive,
Yeah.
they had to have some protection just versus the natural enmity of the planet.
yeah, so
right?
maybe like somehow they're able to siphon off the warp powers too.
who knows, man?
Who knows?
Like
It's odd.
it is odd. It's
Okay.
not fully explained.
Maybe it's a psychic power where like
it almost it's like invulnerability.
Right,
Yeah.
it is. But for a creature that like is small and not powerful,
Right.
It's an ultimate joke. Like you're perfectly protected,
Yeah.
but you're too small to make a difference in the galaxy.
come here, I'm gonna bite your knee.
Right? Like they so on Caliban, because Caliban's destroyed.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Caliban's no longer there. So now their fortress monastery is called the Rock,
Because it's like a piece of rock from Caliban. That
like
was-
an asteroid.
Yeah, but like it's literally Caliban. Like when it was blown apart,
Yeah.
their fortress monastery survived because it was covered in like void generators. So when like the planet blew up, this chunk of the planet blew up in a way. So now it is Caliban technically, but they call it the Rock because it's just a piece of Caliban.
Right.
It's not like an asteroid floating around Caliban.
no,
like
no,
it's its own. It is Caliban.
It's not Caliban, it's the Rock.
And,
But
and now
anyways.
they reside there.
Yeah, so
And-
that's where the Dark Angels are. That's where the Watchers in the Dark are.
Yeah.
And the reason they're called Watchers in the Dark is because on in the Rock there's the resting body of Lion L. Johnson,
The Primarch.
the Primarch of the Dark Angels, and they just watch over his body. So the Watchers in the Dark, it must be nothing more than like a nickname for them. They must have like their own name.
Yeah, like I don't think there's any reference of these Watchers talking. Or
right.
communicating or doing
Yeah.
any.
So the only
showing
name
any
we would
sign
have
of-
is
Yeah.
the one they give.
Yeah.
I think I just found my new favorite Xenos.
Oh, interesting.
Well, the thing is, like, the Imperium must not know about them either. Maybe the Inquisition knows, but
Well,
it-
there is a picture of a space marine
yes.
with one.
Well, like
you don't think they would know?
I know that the Dark Angels know about them, but
but
like
the Dark Angels are known for
a
being
very secretive
yeah.
chapter.
Like they don't when you meet them, they don't tell you their first name. Well, that's not really true, but,
But
like, that's like the level of
People
secrecy,
don't know
like-
which side of the heresy they're on. That's how secretive
Where
they
is this
are.
picture from? Does anybody know? On Lexicanum.
No idea.
That looks like it's from like a Death Watch RPG, judging by the art style.
Yeah.
uh,
Like, because it looks like they're communicating with one another.
No, he's just holding a book.
Yeah, but that's like a form of communication.
oh, but he could just be holding up the Dark Angels book.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
them to read.
No, like that book is probably like
It's like a book stand.
yeah, yeah, like
the
that.
model.
That one.
His own personal
Well, it's
book
actually
stand.
really common for Watchers in the Dark to act as squires to
Nice.
Dark Angels. And they latch on to like Dark Elder that are like destined for like great things. And
Elder?
sorry, Dark Angels.
Angels. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, good call. they like whether it's like because we also talked about this. We didn't know whether it's they see the future and they see that they're destined for great things, or because of how these guys manipulate things around them.
Yeah.
Maybe once they latch onto a Dark Angel, that Dark
He's
Angel
destined.
now, because it has that little luck medallion next to
Yeah.
him, now he can do great things.
Yeah.
So
Consider this too. So like if they did have that foresight, they would be immune to acts of violence because they knew like, oh, he tries to shoot me, I'm actually standing over here. Like he can see the outcome, so therefore he like perfectly positions.
but a
himself
powerful
away.
enough psyker could see through it.
Could they?
Yes.
Could they though?
Have you met the Emperor?
twice,
Have you met Sanguinius?
but I can't tell you what me and the Emperor talked about.
Of course not. It all happened behind closed doors. Yeah, they are a cool race, and there can be a lot of speculation surrounding them.
Just like the Dark Angels are super secretive. Like
They
these
fit.
creatures,
They fit perfectly with each other. A match made in heaven or hell.
or the warp.
The next race we're going to talk about are the
Whisperers. Whisper.
Is that what we're doing now?
Isn't that?
So the Whisperers are an ancient insectoid race that live deep underground on Drusus, which is a shrine world. I actually don't have a good definition of what a shrine world is.
Good, because I was just going to ask, but
Shrine World is like, think a giant cathedral worshipping the Emperor. Like the entire planet is a cathedral.
Is it, could like that continent that was flattened, that could be considered like a shrine world where they made like statues and like all along the path and everything?
Yeah.
so specifically worshiping the emperor then.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
They live underground. They apparently know great truths and secrets of the cosmos. But the thing is, like, how does anyone know that? Because no evidence or relics have ever been found of their existence.
Whisper, whisper, whisper.
So odd.
Yeah.
Sort of self-contradictory.
Yeah, a little bit of a catch-22 there. But they're called the Whisperers because their wings make a brushing, whispering sound. But once again, how do we know that? We don't know how
evidence.
we know. Yeah. So apparently they don't exist in the archives, but they know a lot of stuff. The next one we're going to talk about is the Xenarchs.
Isolationist warp worshipping Xenos.
I like the ones that just give themselves up to chaos.
Yeah. And these guys just want to be left alone
Yeah.
and sacrifice each other to different chaos gods.
Right.
That's all they want to do.
What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that. They live in the galactic north, and they can generate some type of like biological electroplasma.
You got to wonder, where does that come from?
I'll show you.
Nope.
Oh god.
And they can create many technologies to focus and generate electricity, such as Xenarch Death Arc.
So a rifle-sized weapon that releases lightning bolts, and it's got to have something to do with their electroplasma, right? Like,
Yeah.
They must just use it as like a focus for their ability to create electrical energy,
Makes sense.
power,
Yeah.
something like that.
I'm
Or
okay
to
with that.
amplify it, or
Yeah. My favorite part about this is that they are finally subjugated by High Marshal Helbrecht in 989 M41. That's my boy.
and who is that?
How dare you? How dare you?
I'm not asking for me. I'm asking for everybody else who wouldn't know.
Helbrecht is only the chapter master of the Black Templar, arguably the most powerful and largest of the Space Marine chapters, only because they don't follow the Codex.
I'm gonna stop you on a number of issues there.
All right, go for it.
Chapter Master or High Marshal?
It's the chapter master, his rank equivalency,
Okay.
because they technically don't have a chapter master.
Okay.
Right? So, and they don't have like captains or lieutenants either. They have marshals and
And most members, clearly you have not read my 5,000 word fluff piece on my homebrew Space Marine chapter.
right, which doesn't exist, but keep going.
So basically the premise of them...
Oh, let's talk about the Pyro Drakes right now.
Pyro Drakes.
Yeah, High Marshal Helbrecht, High Marshal of the Black Templar, took care of the Xenarch. Filthy Xenos. Good stuff. The next one we're going to talk about are the Xenos of Carmen. This is an unnamed Xeno race from the planet Carmen. Good stuff. Good job, Imperium, on that
They
one.
couldn't name it, eh? They
Nope.
they ran out of names.
Yeah. Like, well, shit, they're from Carmen, so they're the Xenos of Carmen.
Yep. They could name the planet, though.
Of course. Well, everything has a designation. Come on. Another interesting piece right here. They are estimated to be between 60 or 600 million years old.
Holy.
Little bit of a discrepancy there.
Yeah.
That's a big like a wide range.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, 60, like that would definitely place them as oldest in the galaxy by far. 600 million? Because the War in Heaven was 60 million years ago.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like in terms of the galaxy, like we go back 60 million years and that's the war in heaven. But before that, it's just the old ones. But
Yeah.
imagine if something is 600 million years ago.
Huh.
Like that's old.
So
Yeah.
the old ones are liars.
It just depends on where you want to put them in the range of either 60 or 600 million years, right? Apparently, they accessed high levels of technology through trading, and they were eventually wiped out by a Death Watch kill team that orbital bombarded them and then descended on the planet to wipe out any survivors. Is
Yeah.
this the one where it was like 8 Marines or something?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so this race, which is at least 60 million years old, could be 600 million years old, had high-level technology, and they were very familiar with the galaxy because they traded
Yeah.
throughout it. 8 guys. 8 guys are sent to this planet and wipe them all out.
They're just highly incompetent combatants.
Right. But it's
Why I
like,
have such a problem with them. There's no way. There's just no way. Sorry.
You know what? If you got wiped out by 8 Marines, you deserve to die.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, just imagine even like, so like they went onto the planet to like root out anyone who survived the orbital bombardment. These 8 guys. Just imagine 8 guys on Earth right now playing hide and go seek with me.
like death, hide and go
Yeah,
seek.
yeah.
Like if you
On all of Earth.
Yeah, on all of Earth. Good luck.
And how did they survive this long without getting wiped out
Yeah,
by another
exactly.
race?
humanity is that terrifying, guys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's weird.
It is a little crazy.
There must be extenuating
There has
circumstances.
to be, yeah. But it was just such a fun thing to read. Like, oh yeah, this ancient. Like, anything with that old, I always
ridiculous.
picture like so like
know,
advanced
yeah.
and everything. And
Well,
it's just
specifically-
eight dudes.
Yes. And it specifically describes them as advanced.
Right.
So it's like, yeah. Yeah,
And-
these guys shouldn't have been killed that
Right.
easy. Like, what the hell's going on here?
Oh man,
And there's nothing else on them, hey?
No, nothing.
What the hell?
I love all these ones that have the really old but no story because I'm like, do something with this workshop. All right, so the next race is the Zahesian. This is a small Xenos insectoid race.
Yeah. And apparently, with their little mouthy mandible mouths, they're able to speak many languages
Fluently.
fluently.
Very, very fluent.
But instantly?
Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know if
I wonder if the ethereals gave them something.
no different type of
Okay, we're going to have to talk about the ethereals after we're through this.
Yeah, it is. Fluently, instantly, I don't know.
might be.
I wonder if they just like that was what they studied. Like some people study the stars. Some people like learn great truths. This race, all they did was they just like studied languages.
They just studied J.R.R. Tolkien's
What the hell?
Lord of the Rings because he's a linguist. He writes
Yeah.
many languages.
Yeah, he actually was, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, didn't he write like three languages?
No, he,
no,
like,
he knew many languages, but then he created
Yes.
Elvish and all that.
Yeah.
yeah.
guess.
Sorry, bad joke, Eric. Apparently, it's not
Jesus,
appreciated.
man.
Fuck.
We'll get there. We'll get there, Mark.
One day I'll be funny. One day my mother would love me.
It's okay, bud. I love you. I got it.
That's
I
a
got
much
it.
nicer touch than Eric's.
Yeah, I know.
It wasn't
I know.
even under the table. That's
Well,
a lame
I
touch.
wasn't molesting you either, so.
That's what I liked about it.
exactly. Yeah.
So these guys were a part of the Cabal. The Cabal was basically like a group of aliens that think the Illuminati. Basically, they were a bunch
And they were
of-
called the Cabal.
Yeah.
And they're exactly like the Illuminati.
Pretty well.
Cabal and Illuminati are like the same meaning.
yeah.
basically.
Games Workshop is very subtle.
so nuanced.
They're not Tolkien with their wordsmithing. There we go.
You're on a real Lord of the Rings kick
wow.
over here.
There we go.
I'm a Lord of the Rings guy. What can I say?
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So that's all we have on them, really.
That they were a cabal.
Part of the
They were
cabal.
part of the Cabal.
I
Yes.
mean, with their many languages, they thought they could like pull the galactic strings.
Yeah,
or-
yeah.
Who knows?
And then they got wiped out.
Probably.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't say if they had any contact with the Imperium.
Gotcha.
Or not.
Well, how do we even know about them then?
Probably because they had contact with
With the Imperium and got killed. So
One can only hope. The next one are the Uranthros, not to be controlled or confused with the urethra. Big mistake. Big mistake.
You type that in Google and you're like,
And you,
not
because the
impressed.
first thing you look up is images.
Yeah.
Anytime you type up an alien race, the first thing you always look up is the images. You
Yes.
want to know if they have any models out there. Be careful.
Thank you for your.
Did you guys ever see that King of the Hill episode where Hank has this condition called, and how he put it, I have a narrow urethra.
I recall it vaguely.
he couldn't like piss. So-
Oh yeah, and then he had like
Yeah,
the
'cause he-
fan blowing on his balls, and he was wearing shorts that looked real lame. Oh yeah, I remember that.
because of his narrow urethra.
Have you watched like an episode of that like in the last 5 years?
Yes,
And it's still good?
I find it quite amusing. Actually, I find it funnier now than I did when I was
Yeah,
like
'cause
a
it's more
kid.
of
When
a
it came,
grown-up.
yeah, it's the humor is actually a lot more mature than you kind of think. So I find it much funnier now.
I'll have
Makes
to-
it more timeless, actually.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a real timeless type of humor. I
Totally,
find.
yeah.
I'll have to watch it. I need another show to watch because I just burned through Bob's Burgers.
Oh yeah.
So
I'm
uh,
not
never-
as entertained.
I
by
couldn't
it.
get into Bob's
Yeah,
Burgers.
it's not
either.
bad. Like
What?
it has funny parts, but
I just like the ridiculousness of Gene.
oh, so fun. Yeah, Gene's funny.
Like everything is very literal to him.
Definitely, yeah. All I can think is a much funnier show, which is Archer. Every time I hear Bob, so
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just like, well, I'm
Well,
just
it's
gonna
the
watch
same
it.
voice actor,
Yeah,
so-
exactly. So I'm just gonna watch Archer because it's way funnier.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Good call. So the Uranthos are
so derailed.
it sounds like it's described as they produced a powerful psyker called an Mkel. So I wonder if like they manufactured this, like how the shamans created the
Yeah.
emperor. Maybe like through their psychic power they combine and
They
know,
created their own emperor type being.
right, who is like powerful and
but
everything.
not, but basically a pleb compared to the Emperor.
Yeah.
Or better because this guy actually destroyed his
better.
entire race.
Oh wow!
Yeah, his
Oh,
psychic
okay.
ability was so powerful that like he couldn't contain it.
Yeah.
And he like exploded and
Wow.
it destroyed like his whole race. And then Tzeentch, who is chaos god of change and sorcery,
Yeah.
like took Mkel's soul and imprisoned him in a gem.
Powerful
Interesting.
gem.
In a powerful gem.
Yeah.
Which he then puts in a weapon, maybe.
Who knows? Maybe he's just got it dangling around
locket,
one of
yeah.
his no. Tzeentch is a guy.
Well, sure.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't even matter.
Doesn't even matter. Yeah, but Tzeentch was very impressed, clearly, in order to do this.
He probably did it to them.
He probably did. He's the one whispering in all the...
I got this powerful gem here. What to do? What to... I got it.
I'm going to manipulate an entire race to kill themselves.
That's about par for the course with that guy, though.
What's that game where like you roll a dice and it tells you what to do?
I only know the sexy version of that.
Yeah,
like sexy
exactly.
dice.
But instead
Lick
of
nipple.
Yeah. So Tzeentch is playing that game, but instead of like that stuff, on it is like enslave race. The other one is like trick entire Space Marine chapter into becoming ghosts.
So one dice is like enslave, trick, corrupt, and
Right.
the other dice is races.
Right, all the different races.
Yeah, so you roll and you're like, corrupt humanity.
Right, and he's like, yay, my favorite. That's the only reasonable explanation for what happened here.
Yeah. Clearly.
The only
we'll see.
reasonable.
Better
okay,
clear
okay.
us out or you'll never come back on.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Good.
I'm sorry.
We are about to talk about a race that we've been mentioning for ever since we started this Minor Xenos compilation.
Really the one race that brings everything together.
Absolutely.
Makes the whole galaxy make sense.
The one race to rule them all. Mark.
Right.
I would say that, yes.
Or at least touch everything. A little bit. It's got its fingers everywhere. This would be the Uvoth. And at some point, probably like a good like 20% of all the races we've talked about had ties to the Uvoth.
Really?
Yeah. And
Maybe
you wanna
20%
know,
is high.
you want to know a funny story involving the Uvoth?
I do.
So, when we were writing the outline, this is our second last Xenos, and they had a bunch of information. And you were lying on the bed playing with a cat, and I was doing the Uvoth. by myself.
Yeah.
Left to my own devices. So I was really like not at all really reading. I'm like, oh, I'll just copy this and copy. So like
So you're saying this is a failed-
I did not absorb any of the knowledge on the UVOT.
So let's look at our notes then and see what we've got.
So I just don't understand a lot of the context of these notes that I've written down
That you took yourself.
that I took myself.
Oh my gosh.
So I kind
Just
of
read
dropped
them
the ball
out.
on that one.
All right, let's do it anyway. And if we have to go back later, we'll change it. Yeah, you're right.
Get ready for an email correction.
I was not paying attention
No, right?
when you were doing this part.
We're almost there. Almost
right.
there. Let's do it.
These were warp worshipping Xenos. All right, step number 1, they're corrupt as shit.
Yes.
Chaos Xenos.
They built an empire of corrupted humans. All right.
Okay, so far it's making sense.
They
As in enslaved humans?
they must have, because they also enslaved worlds through vile sorcery.
Excellent.
Right?
The only type of sorcery.
Well, no, what about the nice sorcery?
No, only vile.
They used slave armies as well as techno-warp constructs. I can only think of like those soul grinders. Is that like a techno-warp construct?
Yeah, I'd say that would be. Yeah.
Right? Like you get like a warp beast and you mechanically attach like steel girders to him to keep him rooted in our world more.
Oh, right. He has to be anchored in the material.
Right, yeah.
That's a classic fantasy
It is.
fantasy trope. But
Oh, I
yeah.
guess it is, yeah.
Yeah, it definitely is. Like, yeah. Anyways, sorry. Continue.
They had advanced technology such as gravity sails.
Oh,
Damn.
here's another good... We'll finish this.
Okay.
Remind me gravity sails.
Immaterium energy arcs, so, warp stuff. And dark energy constructs.
Yes.
Wow.
Wow.
And
Don't tell me they're dead.
they were eventually destroyed by exterminatus.
Good. That means we don't have to learn about them anymore.
Right, okay.
Even though we've talked about it, I can't wait till we get to UVOT. And I got there. I can't do it. I can't. It was such a long page.
We
Condense.
We gotta go. All right, in our next episode, I'm sorry, guys. We'll talk about the UVA. I'm sorry. I thought we were done, but we're
They're way
not.
too interesting, though. Like, really, how are they even exterminated? Like, I want to know that. Do we
That
know?
would have been a key detail.
Do we
yes.
know? Was there enough information, or you don't
There
know?
probably was.
Ah, okay. You just didn't read it.
No.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No.
All right, Mark. Give us gravity sails. What's going on?
So the
there?
one email, or the one episode, I guess we were talking about flying in space, like with wings.
Yeah.
I guess one of these Xenos had wings or something, and
Sure.
whatever. So the one guy emailed us, and he's like, "Oh well, like their wings would work because Eldar use like solar sails. But the way solar sails work in other fantasies or
It's just solar
sci-fis,
panels.
Nope.
almost they basically reflect the ionization of the sun or something like that.
They
And
actually
that's-
catch the particles of light. So if light's generated in a particle, they catch the particle.
Yeah.
And they grab inertia off it. It's a
Yeah.
common sci-fi trope. It's there's a race in a sci-fi called the Hyperion Cantos.
Okay.
Where humans become transhuman and they actually put solar wings on themselves, some of these transhumans, and they're able to actually survive in the vacuum of space and fly through space with them.
Yeah.
It's really good.
That's cool.
But yeah, that's what it is. They're like harnessing the light as a particle.
Yeah, they're not actually like. There's no wind.
No,
Obviously. Like,
no,
there's no solar
no. But
wind.
there is. It yeah.
Yeah. It's cool.
It-
That's all. I just didn't ever
it's-
know how it fully worked.
Okay.
Actually, you can actually Google too NASA solar sails. It is a real thing.
Oh, is it really?
It's a real technology that they're actually trying to.
Science.
Yeah, that they're trying to harness. But anyways, yeah.
I don't like it.
Sounds heretical to
it's
me.
Super,
Yeah.
it's super gay. Like it won't propel you anywhere fast or anything.
Yeah, it seems so
Like-
unreliable.
Oh,
like,
totally.
You'd have to go from star to star.
And what happens when you get so far out from a star? Like the particles of light aren't going to reach you. So then
Right.
you're even.
and they're so weak.
Yeah, exactly. So you're going even slower by then.
The
right?
Eldar do augment this technology with like actual engines as well, but
I don't like it.
Wait, is that how Eldar primarily travel? Through solar sails?
Yeah.
Oh, really? It's all
Yeah.
solar.
Well, they have other engines too, but I think it is more solar than it is
on
engines.
their like massive like
Craft worlds, yeah.
Yeah.
On their craft world, I'm not sure about their craft world. I know like their escort ships are like more.
Really?
Yeah, look it up. Google it. Google image it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to Google that too.
Yeah.
Image. Always image.
Yeah, like
first.
if you ever
I feel
played
like
like
it's like last ditch. Solar sails are last ditch.
yeah, it might be.
Yeah, for sure.
But like if you ever played like Battlefleet Gothic, you can clearly tell that their ships. Have
I know
those.
that like especially the dark
yeah,
the
you're
dark
definitely
Eldar
right.
ships
Yeah.
like are much more reminiscent of actual ships too.
Yeah, yeah.
They
But
look
Dark,
like
though. They're dark.
I know, but
bad.
they all come from the same
They're
place.
bad capitalists. They use things that burn fuel and propel them through space.
I don't like them. I don't like the way that sounds.
Gravity sails.
It's different. Like,
Yeah,
they
it is definitely different.
Yeah, gravity. They harness gravity or
Yes.
something.
It'd be the same thing though, wouldn't it?
Not
Solar sails,
useful.
gravity sails.
Yeah.
Gravity's a little better though. A little more.
Yeah, the Tau actually propel their ships very interestingly. They like
How is that again?
They do it through ideology.
No wonder it sucks so much.
Leftist ideology. The slowest propulsion of all time.
Some would say it's backwards even.
I would also say it's regressive propulsion, if anything.
They actually like project like a gravity field in front of their ship,
Right.
and it drags the ship to that gravity,
Yeah.
and then they put it again further, and it.
And fun fact relating that to the real world in conspiracy theories. That's
Perfect,
how
yes.
that's how supposedly, and I have air quotes right now. That's how UFOs are able to like make right angle turns at like 16,000 miles an hour or whatever.
Well, they
no,
like-
seriously.
hey,
Maybe that's
So,
where the
like,
writers got the idea from.
Yeah.
So like they shoot
It
like a
defi-
gravity well beside them.
Yeah,
or-
yeah, it definitely is. Like if you just YouTube how like a UFO or flying saucer works.
Air quotes again.
Yeah,
Just so
yeah.
everyone
There's lots of
knows,
air
yeah.
quotes going on.
Like
in
I
here.
find aliens fascinating. Do I
Yeah, oh
believe
yeah.
they're real?
I
No.
find all the stories
Yeah.
very fascinating.
Yeah.
I'm just super critical of them.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that is exactly how it is. It's all done through
Really?
gravity, and you project. So what happens is you're constantly falling towards your propulsion,
Right.
right?
Oh.
So
You're
you
not
can
being pushed anywhere.
Exactly. So that means that when you fall to one point, you can immediately project that point somewhere else and immediately fall to it, even if it's up in the air from going flat horizontally.
That's actually cool. I've never heard that before.
Yeah. So yeah, that's exactly what you're talking about. That's how the tower would do
The
it.
G's would wreck you, but
Well,
Not
so
if you got a jelly suit.
Maybe.
Well,
Made
no.
of jelly.
Because you're disrupting gravity so much, it's actually creating anti-gravity. So for you, it feels like you're not even moving. So you aren't experiencing any G's. So I would imagine that's how the Tau would do it if they're moving in that sort of way.
Eric has this blank face because he doesn't understand science.
oh please.
I doubt that. I
he
think
is a
he's actually
plebe.
trying to. I think he's actually
Oh.
trying to reason it, if anything.
Well,
Look at his
I'm
eyes
just saying that's the
shifting.
theory. I'm not saying I believe it or anything.
podcast idea
Unrelated,
300.
yeah. An unrelated note by Skylar's book,
Yeah.
Yes.
Aliens and You.
No.
Aliens Among
no,
Us.
No, I don't believe in that at all. I think it's total
Classic.
bullshit, but yeah.
To reel it back into 40K.
Yes, let's go to 40K. It's much better.
Tyranids also have like a type of gravitic space travel. They got like, I forget what they call them, but they lock onto
They're
the
like
gravity.
tentacle feelers too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found that really cool.
They like
Yeah.
extend like mandibles that extend out of the ship, lock onto a specific gravity, and then like pull themselves to the
Yeah.
That's
planet
really cool.
through that.
And what's sweet about it is it just wrecks the planet. Like,
Oh, really?
like it throws
Yeah, 'cause, like,
everything out of
because it
whack.
just Huh.
Yeah,
Weird.
yeah.
So it's almost like the tentacles at the ends would have some kind of like almost
like a suction.
yeah, but almost like the opposite magnetic pull almost.
Like because gravity, like it goes out, right?
Right, right.
In and it circles around and goes back in,
And
that's-
goes back
right.
in, correct,
So it's
correct.
it's an electrical field,
Right, right.
So all they're doing is like siphoning this electrical field that normally
they're-
circles back
Yeah,
in.
they're pulling it towards them
Right,
and
which
just
instead of
messing
going like
everything up.
this now, it's going like off into the side.
So you're getting like tsunamis on one side of the
Yeah.
planet that are like 10,000 feet tall.
Exactly,
And like
yeah,
nothing on the other side.
Yeah, it just wrecks your planet.
Get wrecked.
It really
Get wrecked.
It's the Tyranids.
So by the time they get there, the planet's already conquered.
Oh, pretty much. Like if a
Sweet.
Tyranid like invasion is going towards your planet, you kind of got no hope.
Yeah.
You're half
Really.
dead by the time they get there.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because the whole planet has to deal with these like super,
Earth
like these
changes.
crazy
Yeah, totally.
disasters.
Totally.
And all it is a precursor towards a race that's gonna eat every single piece of bio matter that's on the planet.
Hear me out.
Yes.
Ethereal communication helmet for a Tyranid.
No, it couldn't even comprehend the hive mind.
It can comprehend Vespid talk.
But it's a Tyranid has no will. No, I'm not getting derailed by this.
That's bait. That's bait. That's bait. You've seen that gif, right? That's
my
Mad
phone.
Max. That's bait. That's bait. Don't take it. Don't take
He
it.
took it.
There's one more damn race,
Yeah, let's do it.
and we're gonna fucking finish this.
Let's do it. We're there. We're almost
All
there.
right, the Zygo. Mark, be my guest.
Noted for great warriors that fought off the Imperium for over 500 years.
That's pretty impressive.
Holy shit.
Yeah, like,
Not
cool.
many could say that they've had a war with the Imperium for 500
So-
years.
yeah.
So, the Imperium includes Space Marines or just Imperial Guard?
Who knows? But
everything.
you would imagine it would include.
Space
Everything.
Marines. It would have to.
The main thing is that
But-
a lot of times when we think about it, we're like these massive Space Marine armies. But the reality is, there's barely any Space Marines when it comes to the galaxy as at whole.
Yeah, because there's
Right.
only 1 million in the galaxy.
Oh, there's only 1 million Space
Yeah,
Marines.
that's nothing.
No, I know that's nothing. I
Right?
thought there was more, though. I thought there was like 10 million or something.
During the Great Crusade, the numbers would have been a little higher.
Much
Okay.
higher. 100,000 Marines at least per chapter.
Not necessarily that high. Some had like 300,000. Some had only like
Yeah, but-
like 50.
But even that at 20.
Sure. Okay. That's what I'm saying.
it's a
Not
lot.
much. It's a lot more.
Yeah.
No, it's not even a lot more. It's,
But
it's
they're
more.
they're super heroes, so one of them
Yeah.
is equal to like
1,000 men or something.
not or more, right?
Yeah.
Like yeah.
But
If you see a Space Marine, you're screwed.
Yeah.
so how this planet or this Xenos race was able to fight them off, we have no idea. Like that's all they
They
say.
must have been somewhat formidable somehow.
Somehow
At some point.
they were great warriors, and that saved them.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks, Obama.
Yeah.
Well, that's
We did it. Never to talk about a minor Xenos again.
You guys did it. Yay!
Good job, guys. Holy smokes.
It's not as bad for us as it is for you. So
Yeah. Some of them were super hard to get motivated writing.
Oh,
well,
definitely.
when you have absolutely no information,
Yeah.
like why would they even be written in if there's like literally nothing about them?
I like the ones where like they're like they give you some information and then they're like, but we know nothing about them. I like those ones.
yeah.
Yeah, I always wondered about those. I'm like, are they making that up, or are they just like extrapolating that data from somewhere, or do they like, or was that actually written down and they're literally saying
Yeah,
verbatim?
no, that was written down.
Holy shit! So it's like they were this, and this, but we know nothing about them. It's like,
Exactly.
okay.
No, that was written down.
All right. Well, normally we would go over what our favorite races from this specific episode were, but because we've just gone over like 150 different Xenos races, we're just gonna say
that
I
all?
know.
A little
it's-
more.
I think he's talking about the Coke or the rum.
Where'd the rum go?
Where's the rum?
You said you didn't like rum.
I'm a gin man. Apparently.
What we're gonna do now is talk about our favorite races in total.
Oh, okay.
So this works for you especially because at very least you have some kind of familiarity with the other
little bit, yeah.
episodes that we've done. But does anyone
but we
want to
can
share?
include major races too, can't we?
Of course, you can include anything you want.
Yes.
It's your hobby.
Yeah.
Do it the way you want to
Exactly.
do it.
Have fun. That's the main thing. But if it's wrong, get out. That's
That's all we ask.
it's a hobby for everyone until you don't conform with what we're talking
So,
about.
so you could say no true Scotsman is what you could say.
I'm gonna pretend like I understand that reference.
Okay, it's okay. It's fine.
It's like a logical fallacy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
True communism has never been tried.
Or
No, it's like you're not a real communist.
Yeah.
or
okay.
you're
Yeah,
not
I
a real
guess.
Warhammer player
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you
Okay.
don't believe this about this.
Gotcha, gotcha.
So no true Scotsman.
Yeah, you're not the Yeah.
You're not a true Scotsman because you're not.
Well, I'm
Whatever.
not a true Scotsman.
But you're very redheaded.
Your beard's pretty red. I don't know about that.
Are you sure you're not a Scotsman?
Yep, creamy skin.
Yeah.
You stay away from my skin.
Oh, so creamy.
Creamy.
All right,
knocking stuff over.
let's do this. Okay, Mark, give me a race that you liked.
Everyone knows. I'm
If
a
you
Lord of the
say-
Rings guy.
Oh boy.
No, of course, it has to be Jizz Hands crew. Has to be. Has to be the Jizz Hands.
Wait, what does that have to do with Lord of the Rings?
No, because he's probably thinking people were going to think Demiurge. Is that what you were going for?
No, I always.
Oh,
say
you
I'm
were just
crew
making a
guy.
joke.
I'm trying to be funny.
It's not working. Oh my
We
god.
all know you're a crew guy. It's not funny though because you're serious. You like, you
It's
like
sad.
Crew. No, it's awesome.
So Crew, definitely your favorite
Yeah,
race.
number
then,
one, like-
out of all of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we all know why. You just like their story. You like the
Yeah.
shaping that they do.
I like their models. I like
Yeah.
everything about.
You know
them.
what? I always thought it was,
I've never seen one. I should actually
yeah,
Google,
Google
that.
it.
I'm gonna Google it right now.
A Crew, they seem to have pot bellies. And that has always been a little bit endearing to me. They've got a little
That
bit
has
of a
to do with
belly.
the genetic material they're ingesting, though,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Maybe.
You try eating an entire human. In
I don't
one
think they have to
sitting.
eat an entire human.
They do it because they love to. Okay, you leave them alone. Yeah, no, I just love their theme behind them. Even like they got like a dark sense of humor where and it's just-
They try and make things as uncomfortable
yeah, and
as
sometimes I
possible.
do that in front of my parents and I enjoy it, and they don't. And it's
Oh
just
God,
good.
they're horrible. But I can
They're
see
sweet.
I can see why you like them, though. No, that's awesome.
I gotta show you like my crew that I've painted.
I actually thought that their faces would look a lot more avian. They're more reptilian.
Yeah.
A lot more reptilian than all the descriptions because I've listened to all the episodes and you guys talk about them. So I always pictured like a beak on.
Well, it is a beak.
Is that?
Yeah, to be.
It is definitely a beak.
De-
It might just be
depending on-
painted.
Call that a beak?
It might be
Depending
painted
on like
funny.
depending on who paints it, some paint it like a different color, and
Yeah.
others like,
Okay. Okay.
It
yeah.
definitely looks bone compared to the
Yeah.
flesh of their body.
Sure. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I'll give it to you. It's a beak, but it's a very stubby
It
beak.
is, and it has
Very-
like that hook, like right
Yeah,
on the.
very
like a
stubby.
macaw.
Okay.
No, it's not even that.
Some of
good.
the models are like reptilian jaws almost. A
Yeah.
little bit.
there is that definite. You definitely get that flavor out
It's,
of them for sure.
Oh God, there's a couple reptiles that actually have beaks.
Oh, really?
But they're reptiles. I think I could be wrong. I'm thinking. I just can't remember the name of it. I
So
shouldn't
the
have said
aliens
anything.
come into the planet.
I shouldn't have
and
said
they-
anything.
The frickin' reptilians, man.
We finally
God.
got the technology to breed cats and spy what?
What?
What are you talking about?
Charlie?
No,
Yeah,
Charlie's
some-
like, I finally
some,
made it.
Some
So-
turtles have beaks.
Yeah,
Yes.
like snapping
I guess.
turtles.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about.
I guess
like
yeah,
a
that'd be
turtle
very, very
kind of.
similar to what they
Yeah.
got.
Well, it's. I wouldn't say. Well, it's not that similar, but it's,
Oh, okay.
it's close enough. I don't know.
It's enough that you
Yeah.
thought of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking, though. Like a
Yeah.
very stubby kind of. Yeah. Anyway.
All right, Jordan, give me one.
Top three or just one?
Just give me one that you liked.
okay.
We'll go around
And
and see if there's any more.
Here I went and thought of three. God damn.
I think probably my
there.
favorite is the old ones.
Okay, we didn't really talk about the old ones.
No, I
in
know, 'cause
this
we-
one.
because
and they
had a
are
whole
technically
episode.
a minor Xenos.
Yes.
Yeah,
They're
absolutely.
Are
listed
they
as a
minor?
minor Xenos.
Oh, okay.
So
I would say they are.
even though like maybe back in the day they weren't really minor.
No, of
No.
course not.
Yeah, but
Aren't they like the catalyst to all of this? Though, like
yes.
A
really,
little bit. A little bit.
So they're not. Yeah.
otherwise I kind of like the Mulari, the ones who were grounded to bone or
Yeah.
their bone is grounded.
Same.
But
Okay.
I like only because they had so much knowledge of the galaxy, and
Yeah.
you just want to know more about them, but
Yeah.
you can't, and they won't tell you, and you wish that they would. So
Yeah.
and it's just like more for the
Imagination
Yeah,
behind what you
exactly.
can do with
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
yeah, precisely.
Okay. Yeah, I like that one too. That one's pretty cool. Skylar, give me one.
That's tough. Well, there's.
If you don't remember the names of them either, just
just
describe
start
yeah.
describing it.
It's not that. It's just I have a few in my head that are super interesting. going along the same lines of what my brother said, is it's the mystery and you want to know more about them.
Okay.
Those guys, I think they were the last Xenos or the Xenos before, and they have like they live in ruins and they jump to other worlds. You guys remember that description?
Yeah.
And you guys like had a little debate about
Like
how they did
exactly
it.
what that means.
Yeah, like was the gravity super low?
Yeah, did
and
they literally actually just jump in the air, or
Yeah.
or is there some kind
Sorry,
of
that
portals?
one was me where I was like, they must just jump from planet
Yeah.
to planet. It's the only possible explanation.
But I thought that was really interesting because it does make it seem like there was some kind of ancient infrastructure. I think that's the inference, anyways.
Yeah, I
right?
think so, too.
Yeah,
And they just have some type of like warp gate or stargate.
yeah, and they as
Or even like a ship that travels from planet to planet.
No,
like
because
a
they
localized
didn't
ship.
have technology.
No, they didn't. But
but it's
they're-
like a train.
like they may not
Space
have.
elevators thing. Is
Yeah, or a ship that is just on a route that they just get on.
Yeah.
And
That's
it-
more like what I was saying. They may not know even.
How-
They just know they can get on it
and
it'll
go
move.
somewhere
Yeah,
else. Yeah, you don't have to be advanced.
They think it's
Yeah.
magic for all they know.
I mean,
right?
yeah, you can get drunk and get on a C train or a bus, right, and end up on the
In
other
fact,
side
I
of
would
the city.
recommend it.
No, don't do that. But that, yeah, right.
Yeah, no, they're a cool race because once again, yeah,
It's just the mystery of
Yeah,
it. It's
yeah,
like they
yeah.
live in the ruins. Well, what were the ruins of? It must have been their civilization, which must have been super advanced, or
Yeah.
or whatever. There's so many connotations to and inferences to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's super interesting. I really like that kind of stuff.
Okay. My favorite one out of all of them is always the Hrud.
filthy run.
Or the
filthy
Bendies.
crud. The bendies, I love that.
Definitely my favorite.
Yeah.
So
I just think of Slender Man.
Yeah, me too.
When you say
Definitely.
the bendies.
Skylar, have you seen an image of him before?
No, I don't think. I think I may have. I had this interaction with some guys at school. I'm in a trade, so it's like a 6-week course, basically once a year that we all go to with people from other companies, and we all like get together and do-
Recertification almost.
Yeah, stuff like that, certifications, apprenticeships, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I called this real lanky guy a filthy bendy.
Yes.
And everybody just like laughed. They had no idea what it meant, but it was just like such a weird thing to say to someone.
Filthy Bendy.
They were just like, ah, it's so funny, what the fuck? So it was really, and that
You're
was
like, thank you, GW.
Oh yeah, I remember these guys now. They look like they're almost like the Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
DC creature. You know?
Yeah, but their whole like how they live and how they
You can relate to how they live.
no,
Is that what you're saying?
get out of here.
Living in squalor and
Filth.
filth.
I love the fact that like they pass time for stuff that's around them.
Yeah.
and in
Yeah, that
like,
was cool,
when
yeah.
they have like the Hrud migrations, like it'll like mess everyone up.
Yeah.
Like,
and like the humans around them get like a chemical dependency on them
yeah,
too.
because they
Like,
release like this chemical around them, and then the humans like are willing to do anything for the Hrud.
yeah, but then they age because they're like around the HUD. Like it's just such a crazy concept.
It is. I really like the Hrud. They're one of my favorites.
And as Skylar pointed out, it's an ultimate insult. You call somebody a filthy Hrud or a filthy Bendy if they're tall?
right.
Bendy's way funnier. They wouldn't understand Thrud, but
No, well,
yeah.
if you're in a Warhammer group, you
Yeah,
call
oh yeah,
someone a
yeah.
Hrud.
Warhammer would
Yeah.
be hilarious.
Of
But-
course. Oh man.
Is it? That's not them, is it?
I mean, that's probably someone's conversion of them, but they don't actually have models.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
I'll show you a
But they have actual like a picture on the Lexicanum page.
guys are making me waste my time here.
All right, give me another race that you liked, because I think everyone knew Mark's crude answer.
Of course.
My Hrud, like I talked about them for so long.
Hrud's
so
really.
what's another one, Mark, that you actually really enjoyed learning about? One maybe you didn't necessarily know anything about, and now you do.
Skylar took my phone.
You took your phone, so you can't check anything.
No, it's all good. The Tyrus. They were on our last episode. They were the squid people that their entire purpose was just like performance arts.
Right. And no matter what it did, they would just do whatever looked or what was the best thing.
Right?
There were a bunch of soy boys. A bunch of hipster soy boys.
They change their color or their texture at will, to whatever like suits the moment the best. And
Yeah, and like I just like before we talked about that episode, I just listened to Dan Carlin's like World War I episode, and I just constantly my mind just
podcast, by the way.
it is.
Yeah.
I just constantly went back to like a trench warfare of like these guys lining up like in the trench and they're about to breach the trench, but like they all like when they do it they all like change colors and it's just like the most like
it
dramatic.
looks like a rock band.
Yeah, and it's just like the most dramatic thing possible. You know, like they're just getting mowed down, but they don't care. Like they all like it's just.
They're like just firing their guns because
like
it looks cool.
They
In
don't,
the air.
and like even just their mindset is just so alien. Like they don't care about like
Winning.
They don't care about dying. Like
Yeah.
they just performance arts.
Gross.
Worst
Or-
kind of people for sure, but
or-
best kind of alien.
Liberal arts, you could say.
Jordan, what's a species you enjoyed learning about?
I think they're called the Rakgul. The ones
Yes.
with the really cool spaceships. They kind of look like aliens from Aliens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they
don't
use like
remember.
very brutal technology and
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
and like they hunt.
They're the ones where like you progress when you get more technology,
Yeah.
right? So you start as just a regular marauder.
Yeah.
And then like you become the next guy, and your broodmaster helps blood you.
And their ships were like 10 times bigger than a Imperial ship.
they had the macro cannons.
Yeah.
So
I actually really like them just because of their ship. It looks like they're like the most powerful fleet in the galaxy, but we don't know that for sure. But it seems that way, you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
sizes
ship
and
fleet.
everything, it's all about the motion.
Motion in
Is
the
that what you hear?
motion in the space ocean, Mike.
Yeah. Their ships are larger than Imperial starships, and an Imperial starship can be like what, 14 kilometers long?
Sure.
Right.
It
So-
changes book to book.
Right, of course. But they're bigger than that.
1.4 to 14.
And they're
60 to 60 million.
yeah, 600.
yeah, 600, yeah.
And they have a cannon called the roar beam, and it runs the entire length of their ship.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
That is a big.
That was
ass
last episode,
cannon.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, they're almost like they're like a space predator. Like they kind of hunt other,
Right.
and they kind of travel in packs and stuff.
Yeah.
So have they ever fought the Nids? Is there any...
I'm not sure if they did.
Oh, that'd
Yeah.
be sick. That'd be a sick thing
Any
to read
of
about.
the races that are just like, all we care about is war. Well, fuck you. All we care about is war.
Yeah, let's do this.
I think
40-kilometer space cannon!
I think they'd be a cool race to make miniatures of, or to include
Totally,
in like
yeah.
some smaller smaller side stories. You know. So.
Yeah.
Is that a thing, though? Can you do smaller side stories in 40K?
Oh yeah, people,
yeah,
people
there's-
write like little stuff all the time.
With, like, Xeno models?
Not with models, but at the very
RPGs.
least, like you'd get like a story out of it,
Gotcha.
right? Like, they got
Story's cool,
in their
yeah.
black library. They have so much.
Oh,
there.
yeah, sure.
Skylar, give me one that you enjoyed learning about.
A minor?
Yeah,
Or major?
anyone. One of your three that you liked.
What was the Whispers? That
The
was
Whisperers,
this. Yeah.
the ones where we know stuff but we don't.
We don't know anything about
anything.
them. It's pretty good. So, yeah.
Is it just because you want to know more about them? or-
Yeah, again, it's just the mystery thing. Like,
Yeah.
like I get hard for awesome space fleets, but mystery gets me more aroused.
All right.
Goes
just
from this to this. Air quotes, guys. Air quotes.
So many air quotes.
for me, the sloth.
Sloth, yeah,
Sloth?
the mega
The
people,
boogeymen.
the boog, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they
the
were
ones
good.
that like
Yeah.
they created like flesh machines
Yeah.
and they would
Whatever
hold
that
like your
means.
heads like in a jelly until the
Yeah.
sloth could come and feed on them, and people thought they were just like a nightmare, and
Yeah.
but they're very real.
It's like true horror. Like not like all of these aliens are pretty terrifying, but like it's more like you're afraid of like that they can kill you. Like you're more afraid of the danger of it as opposed to like the sloth where you're like looking at them,
Like it's terrible.
Yeah,
terrible.
terrible.
Yeah.
Like it's just like they're weird flesh
Terrifying.
machines, and like it's just creepy and weird, and
Yeah, yeah.
I can see the appeal.
No, yeah, they definitely have a true horror element to them for
Yeah.
sure.
All right, I have another one that I want to talk about. There's so many, but I've limited myself to one more. Anyone else want to share one that they liked?
Go for it.
All right, the Nephilim.
Ah, yes.
So the Nephilim were the giants that like tricked people into worshiping them, or like convinced
Yeah.
them into worshiping them, and then they were like bloated sacks, and they were massive, and they would cut off parts of their like flesh, and you, as like a worshiper of the Nephilim, you could put it on your face like to
Yeah.
show like your worship of the Nephilim, and then at some point it would just like fuse into you, and then your body energy would sustain the Nephilim.
Yeah,
Nice.
so weird.
So alien.
Yeah,
So that's another cool one
Yeah.
that I really liked.
That reminds me of the mythological Nephilim that we have in like the real
like half
world.
angels, half humans.
Yeah, yeah. It's a similar psychological thing. I think you could.
Oh, for like the worship
Yeah,
aspect.
yeah. I think you could definitely draw some
Similarities.
parallels for sure.
Definitely. Anything else, or Mark's got one more thing he wants to talk about?
so Demiurge. I got a couple more.
You
Okay.
said this last time. You can't say Demiurge every episode.
Oh, fuck. Sucks listening with somebody who's actually listened or doing this. I like them, but also
Every minor Xenos is Demiurge every time. And crew. Like, Jesus.
get a hobby, Mark. No, the Thunder God. What
The
is it?
Thunderlord.
Thunderlord.
Yes. Awesome.
Yeah.
It's just
so
that-
awesome.
The Thunderlord maybe is a species, maybe isn't.
Or a singular individual
He's just
species.
a singular
Yeah.
entity.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it basically had a planet that worshipped it, and a Death Watch kill team was sent in, and they killed it. Only one survived, but that one guy who survived like had the crystalline heart of the Thunder Lord, and he took it back to his fortress monastery.
Right. And you guys drew some parallels. At least I thought you hinted at some parallels to some other more ancient races. That,
Like it could have been like Satan.
Yes,
potentially, like-
Satan. Yeah,
like,
yeah.
At first thought, that's kind of what we're thinking.
For sure
but,
he
like,
is, though. Is he
Well,
not?
The more you like, a Satan is a being of pure energy. Like
Right.
they don't exist in the material realm like
Okay.
we do, because they feed on like star energy, and
Right.
they're star vampires.
Right.
And yes, the first thought is a Satan, but the more you really try and picture a Thunderlord, you kind of lose the Satanness, because the Thunderlord had a heart, whereas a Satan doesn't have one.
For all we know, though, that the Satan has its necrodermis body, and like they shattered the body because we know they can do that.
Yeah.
And then like it took like just what he thought was the heart.
Yeah,
Like-
It's possible.
It's possible.
like let's just say for speculation purposes that it's just how it's described. Let's
Yeah.
say that the Marines who killed him, it was Marines, right?
Yeah.
Who killed him didn't realize it was a Satan with his like physical body or something like
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah.
Like they weren't educated in it, so that they just assumed
Yeah.
it was
But-
what
Right.
it was,
But
right?
it like draws a lot of comparisons to
It
the
does.
Satan because
Yeah,
like
when you guys
they
were
make
ta-
some worship him and they
Yeah.
feed off the population.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
And
like,
It demanded sacrifice, which
Yeah.
is what like Satan love.
Yeah.
They love feeding on
Yeah.
human
like
or
everything
souls.
about it is like a singular individual Satan
Yeah.
controlling this place.
Definitely, that's like what
So-
always comes to my mind.
And
for
maybe
it.
we don't know it. Like, do we know everything about them?
no,
not even
that's all.
close.
So it's not outside of the realm of possibility that he the Thunder God
Yeah.
is a Satan.
Yeah, I like to think it. If
Yeah.
I was to put money down on something, it would be that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I really like that. That was like last episode or the episode
Yeah.
before that. That was
So.
that was really good.
That is my top 3.
All right. Anyone
Sweet.
else want to share?
There was something you guys were supposed to remind me about that I wanted to talk about, but I can't remember now.
I can't remember it either.
F it.
Jordan,
Yo.
you good?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, then we just have one more thing. Mark, take it away.
What is it?
Oh, in the notes it says Tau RPG update.
Ah, yes. How could I forget?
Totally
So,
forget.
this would like to hear your guys' opinion on We finally are doing a 40K RPG, and we are gonna be recording it and releasing episodes. So our question to you guys is, would it be weird if we put it on the Lorehammer channel, or would you guys prefer that we put it on its own separate feed and keep Lorehammer just Lorehammer? We think we're probably going to put it just on its own separate feed, but if you guys are all like, put it on Lorehammer so we don't have to download multiple podcasts, we'll do it because we don't really care either way. But as of right now, we're probably going to put it on its own feed, and we'll give you more information of like what it is. But basically, the people playing is me, Eric, Christian, and then Paul,
Who you guys would have met
in the Abhuman episode.
Yep.
And then Rio, he was on a Minor Xenos, he was on a Tau episode. And then Peter, who was on a Minor Xenos and the Eldar.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very familiar, like the same kind of feed. Well, not really, because it's an RPG, but like
You'll know the people.
You know us, and yeah. So let us know what you guys think, and we'll provide more details as like it's coming out. So
Yeah, we're pretty excited for it.
it's gonna be sweet. I got an awesome.
It's been a
storyline.
long time coming
yeah,
for this one.
Yeah.
I might even listen.
It's gonna give you more content. That's what matters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I may be even willing to pay for that content.
Would you pay on our Patreon page, perhaps? Or
Perhaps if you set one up, I may perhaps send some money to that Patreon. Maybe
Oh God!
even
Spoilers.
maybe
Spoilers.
even some Bitcoin. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Well, thanks for listening to our Minor Xenos 4 episode. We're done finally.
yeah.
Gonna get into some like real meat content now, which I'm super excited
What is
for. Like our next episodes.
Yeah.
Oh.
What's the next one we're doing?
Well, the next one we're doing is Space Marines.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we're planning on laying out like, hey, this is what a Space Marine is.
Nice.
We'll finally answer the question that's on everybody's mind.
Right. Do they have penises?
And if so, how big?
Right. That's my first thought.
I think that's only on Mark's mind.
Eric said it
I was
before
thinking
me.
too. Come on, you guys have never thought about how
They don't mate though, do they?
No,
Actually,
they
yeah,
don't.
yeah.
They have penises. Like, why would they not? Like,
Only to pee.
they-
Well,
But
because it's just another weakness. That's why they don't have them.
yeah, exactly.
Well, they probably get castrated, I would assume.
yeah.
no, you,
definitely
why?
eunuchs.
Why? Why?
Because they don't
That
want
would be
them
so
being
bad.
distracted.
And all the greatest warriors in history
Yeah.
are eunuchs. So
Yeah.
You guys ever heard of like testosterone and like, you know?
no, that's your balls, not your.
Oh, you
Not
just
your-
cut
not
the
your
dick
pee-pee.
off.
Yeah.
So they keep the balls, but they cut off.
held on his dick and they cut his body off.
There's only a dick in that giant suit. That's all he is.
He is a dick.
So we'll answer that for you.
Yeah,
And-
be prepared for that one. No, it's gonna be really sweet. Finally, like we get into the nitty gritty of like what a Space Marine is, how they're made, what it takes to become a Space Marine.
Yeah.
We'll list some of the differences between chapters and how some make their Space Marines versus others, and the process they go through. I'm super excited to do
Talk
that
about
one.
how a bolt gun works.
No, because that is up for debate.
Oh, really?
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited for it. These next episodes, like we're done our framework, right? Like
Yeah.
we're done like the essence of what we think is necessary as a background information for the galaxy. So
Yeah.
at this point, like give us topics you want to hear.
Yeah.
Anything and everything you want to hear about, we want to know about. So it seems like a decent number of people when I ask them, a lot of it is Inquisition.
Yeah, Inquisition, and I heard a couple Mechanicums
Yes,
as well.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Definitely other
yeah.
parts of the Imperium. I'm super stoked.
And more NID stuff too.
Nids?
If there's anything about them.
So like,
There's
if-
always
if-
more.
Yeah, because like we could go into like all their different biomorphs and
Yeah, that
stuff,
would be
and like
cool.
all the different units. Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
all the different like hive fleets and like
Yeah.
what their different
I mean,
personalities are.
I don't know how many episodes you could do, but like one focusing more on them would be really cool.
Yeah.
I really like them. Their bug nature and their kind of like collectivism and stuff.
Maybe
That's
you
really
should come
cool.
back for that episode.
Yeah, but I don't know anything about them. So
We don't either.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's all the same
Oh, okay.
stuff.
Then yeah, sure. Maybe we'll come back.
Don't forget to send us an email, lorehammerpodcast@gmail.com. You can send us a message on Facebook. We'll get back to you 100%. We always do. Even if all you're doing is say, hey, fuck you guys, we'll still be like, thanks. I'm on Twitter. Every once in a while, I like stuff. Sometimes I even tweet stuff. Yeah, on the very rare occasion when I'm feeling generous.
Or when you cut yourself and I make fun of you.
Right,
and then
exactly.
I
And then
cut
you
myself
cut
a minute
yourself.
later. You know,
Maybe I'll just start posting pictures of my cat, because that seemed to get a good response when
Cat
you
war?
posted yours.
You wanna do a cat war?
We'll do a cat war. I have a kitten, I win.
you've never seen the potato.
Anyways, guys,
The potato king.
thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Hooty-hoo. Peace.
What is that? This is trademark.
I just thought it would be funny.